Welcome in on this Tuesday. Boy, it really does feel like autumn. You should see my backyard. Leaves are starting to fall. Gorgeous day today. Hope everybody is in a good mood today. It is Memphis and UCF week. We'll talk with Gabe Kuhn coming up at about 25 minutes or so about the Tigers and UCF. I'm pretty sure that Gabe played UCF and never beat UCF since Memphis has lost 13 times in a row to that team. That team, by the way, I guess Josh Heupel is putting his signature on it. They're the first team that I have seen, and I don't know if this is boring to all of you out there, but Brett, maybe you can relate to this. They will not put out a two deep. So they have to, by rule, you have to get to see the opponent's film. So on tape, you will see who they are. But they won't put out who they are playing on Saturday. You can go back and look to see who started for them against Tulsa, a team that, after talking to some folks, not only beat them, but physically injured them. In speaking with their play-by-play guy today, he said, had we played last week, because they were off. Had they had to play, they probably wouldn't have been able to field anybody because, or as many people as they would like to, because they were so beaten up. But coaches now are so paranoid. It's funny to me, so paranoid that as a philosophy now, they are not putting out two deeps because they don't want the other coaching staff to know who's going to play. That
Dave,
crazy,
and it's a really. I think it's a really bad, unflattering look. They are so very clandestine now, and they're scared of everybody. They're scared of their own people, and just the lack of information. And what that really mostly does is, okay, if you won't give us that information, then I'm sorry, we've got to be irresponsible and fill in the blanks and guess.
Well, what's funny to me is that the game notes are where you put the two deep. And the game notes are there
well, no kidding.
For media people to get to express to the public what's going to happen. Here's who's playing. This is going to be what you look up for matchups. If you're a radio or TV guy, you've got to make charts for the game so you can call it the correct way. And we use those two deeps to put up our charts to fill in stats so that we can express all of that to the public.
Where you can inform, where you can entertain, where you can educate. And now, Dave, with the way social media, the way it works, so the said announcer doesn't have that information. He or she makes a mistake, maybe a malaprop, maybe a misstatement. Social media crushes the announcer. They don't know the game they're calling.
Right.
Bozo didn't prepare.
Right. And it's probably social media that is the reason why the coaches have become more and more paranoid because there is more access to make it more mainstream. But, even lie about it, but put something out there. This is the first school I've seen yet with that philosophy that we're not going to tell you who's going to play. Can you imagine that? The NFL would never allow that to happen.
Shouldn't. And for some very practical purposes this year, with what has been presented to people, it's legitimate. But also in a lot of situations already this year, I have encountered this, and I feared this, and I fear it going forward, that this was the golden opportunity to cut out some that they had been dreaming of, to give less information when they could, and go even more clandestine, more paranoid, more hypersensitive, and I think I think it really does the ticket buying public a horrible disservice at a time those tickets are more expensive than they've ever been.
It is funny to me. It is wrong to me also, and it just gives me more fuel to the fire to go, what? UCF really? UCF, the team that everybody was laughing at when they claimed to be champions. UCF, the team that
I didn't laugh at them. I just thought it was a good PR stunt that they took way too seriously.
Well, they want to be first class. They want to be big time. And
well, they are.
And then they pull off a stunt that to me is little league.
And then that's not.
Yeah, that is crazy. But actually, and a good guy who is a first class guy, Mark Daniels, who is their play-by-play guy, will join us tomorrow at 5 o'clock, so we'll get a little bit maybe more information about this team.
And he's working under the same constraints. And, Dave, it's just a lot of things out there. And I know a large segment of people going, man, don't need to hear the radio guys, the radio announcers complaining about anything. I hear you. But it is for the consumer. It is for the public. It is for Vox Populi. It is for the folks. That the more we know, the more we can give you.
Well, I think there is just a lot more paranoia amongst coaches. I've really witnessed it in the last 10 to 15 years, and there is no coincidence in my mind that it correlates with the growth of the internet. And they're afraid that people could get video of their practices or
oh my goodness,
any sort of thing that could give any.
I can tell you every offense everybody's running.
Yeah.
Memo here, spread, run pass option, a little hot shot quarterbacks, what everybody wants. The best, though, was Saturday. And he's a great young coach. I give him all due credit. Off to a fantastic start at a fantastic place. But I think at times that Lincoln Riley can just be pure D pistol britches. And Saturday, it was nothing better than the TV shot of him. He's properly masked up for 2020 football, and he still has his call sheet over his face like this.
Yeah, right. You can't,
Superman can't see through that.
Well, that's another thing about technology. You can look close. I don't know how you could possibly relay it that quick
with a mask on.
Well, with a mask on, it's just habit that he's putting that up there. But and the other thing that's funny to me is we know that you have systems and you practice those systems, and it takes rep. You can't tell me that between Tulsa a week ago Saturday and the game at 2:30 that you could change your offense or personnel enough that you're going to not show anybody with your two deep, right?
Yeah.
Let's
be serious. I mean, it's 7th floor at Langley in every football operation building now, and I think that's a off-putting look to one and all. I did get a kick out of this week's AP vote. Did you notice down in the others receiving votes? Did you notice what I noticed?
No, I don't think. What was it?
Oklahoma would have been translated to 28th with 71 votes.
Okay.
29th. Tulsa was 62.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Compare those budgets.
Wow.
Compare those enrollments.
Oh, yeah. No, I think this Tulsa team is going to get a lot more respect before the year is out. I really, really do.
You were on that early.
Well,
you were on that even in this difficult year.
Don't forget this. Last year, if they had any kind of a place kicker, they would have beaten both SMU and Memphis. The great game day game in Memphis would never had occurred if not for a poor field goal kicker on the part of the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. They're a good team, and now they got a better kicker, and they got a quarterback who's pretty good, and they're very physical. They're not a bad football team. They're really not. They may be, this year in particular, used to be the Western Division, their answer to the way Temple plays in the East.
That is a really sharp comparison, and we'll talk about this with Gabe about 3:30 and the rest of the week. Pretty fair fight in Memphis Saturday between UCF and the Tigers. They are 2-1, but they haven't played since October 3rd.
No. Well, they played the same day that Memphis played SMU. That's when they played Tulsa. So they'll both have 2 weeks off. They've only played one more game than the U of M. And Memphis feels, I know that they own one. So many close games, and yet Memphis has lost 18 times in a row, 2 championship games. One year they had a 17-point lead in the regular season game at the half, a 16-point lead at the half of the championship game, and still lost in crushing style. So I am sure that the Tigers will be ready for this.
You have your ringer on, don't you? Because I just sent you the text.
Well,
I heard the bell ring.
Usually I keep my thing off on silent the whole way, but I was expecting a phone call earlier today, so I had to have it on. And now now it's good. So I apologize if anybody heard the ding.
Good.
Tonight also.
It's a dinging society, isn't it?
It is. I was around the U of M today. I think there was a quiet optimism from what I could catch.
Good.
That Sam Iamide, who is the big guy, who is friends with the sharpshooter from St. Louis, he is making his decision. I think it's down to Memphis or Kansas, and now he's going to commit at 6. I thought it was going to be today, right around 3, but apparently now that's been moved back to 6, Drew?
Yeah, according to his Twitter page is when he decided he's going to announce tonight at 7 Eastern, so 6 Central.
If he signs, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but that would make the Memphis class with Minot and the St. Louis kid, the other guy who's a sharpshooter from Northeast. That I believe this class would be in the top 5.
John Camden is the guy that you're trying to think of.
Yeah.
Right now, according to I've got 24/7 Sports pulled up for the 2021 class. Memphis is ranked 11th, so definitely bump him in the top 10 for sure.
Well, I thought they were 9, and maybe it's not 24/7, but when the what's the name of the young man from St. Louis who's friends with Iamide?
Jordan Nesbitt.
Jordan Nesbitt. When they signed Nesbitt, I saw, and maybe it's not 24/7, maybe it's Rivals. They were number 9 nationally. And I thought that I read that if they got Iamide, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, that would put them in the top 5. We'll see. It doesn't really matter. You know what matters? What matters is 2 years from now.
That's right.
How good are these guys, really?
According to Rivals,
but it's fun.
What?
They're 7th right now.
It's fun for.
They're 7th.
Yeah, it's fun for buzz, and it's fun. If you could have real ticket sales and pizzazz, but it mostly matters when you get out on the court. And I think when they get out on the court, they will do just fine. Hey, Tennessee, sports betting is almost here, and FanDuel Sportsbook's giving you an exclusive offer to get started. I have my FanDuel Sportsbook app at the ready all the time now, and FanDuel Sportsbook's giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit to register and verify early. No deposit required. You're going to need it tonight. You're going to need it all weekend. You're going to need it for the NFL. You're going to need it for the baseball tonight. I love having mine at FanDuel, America's #1 sports betting site, for a reason. They've got odds on all the biggest sports in a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for. Then you lock it in just like I do. And unlike other sports books, once you win, FanDuel, they get you your cash in as little as 24 hours. And it's simple as to why, because it's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. I just love it. Very simple. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code CASH so they know we sent you. When you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. That's promo code CASH to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity October sales event. What a sun-splashed, beautiful day. A great day to go car shopping over at 2600 Ridgeway, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving great. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
We have a new tradition around America today. It's called Tuesday Night Football.
Thought it was called the Maction. That's when the Maction was on, wasn't it? Tuesday night?
It's the NFL tonight.
It's all about the Tennessee Titans. Buffalo coming to town. The game is on CBS. Is Jim Nantz doing this game? Is this a Nantz Romo game?
I don't know. I don't know who the announced team is.
I mean, come on. Joe Buck and company are doing Thursday and Sunday. I mean, Nantz, come on.
Next Monday, we got a 4 o'clocker. A 4 o'clock Monday afternoon football game.
But that's all because
no Thursday game this week. It's all because of the virus.
All because of COVID reshuffling. Right. And there'll be a Thursday night college football game, so we're going to be okay. The Tuesday night football on CBS. Why are we not picking that game? I have a real
because we don't know who's playing in it.
Well, we know who's playing tonight. We know Buffalo is playing. We know the mighty.
No, we
Bills.
don't know the rosters. We don't. I don't know that Cam Newton's playing or not, and I'm not going to be involved in a game that I don't know. I'm sorry, Patriots aren't playing. That's next Monday afternoon.
No, this is Josh
See,
Allen.
I don't know who's playing tonight.
We know it's the mighty Buffalo Bills, the team you like to this.
You need the action, don't you?
Well, I don't need the
Are you
action.
trying to go 2-11 this week? Because you're 2-10 now.
I feel really good about the Bills. I think if you look at the Titans, who they've played this year, come on. Hey, what have I got to give away? What's the line on that? I don't think it's a big
I didn't
line.
see one earlier.
Yeah. Well, part of it is nobody knew if this game was really going to take place.
That's it. It was
is
on a
true.
banana peel earlier today. I mean, it was still up for grabs, waiting on some final testing.
Yeah, I can't.
Current line on VegasInsiders.com, Buffalo -3.5.
Sure.
The Music City Miracle combatants. These two teams have combined to be in two of the craziest playoff games ever. The Oilers comeback, or the Bills comeback against the Oilers up in Buffalo, and the Music City Miracle.
Right. I feel strongly that this should be a separate thing because you have dissed Josh Allen.
You want to put out a strong Wolo play? You're going to throw the dart and put out a 10,000 start?
No,
go right ahead.
No. I am challenging you, Buffalo Bill hater. I am challenging you, giving you 3.5, a Germantown commissary, freebie for Drew. He gets
Not
in
doing
on
it.
all these.
If I pick the game, I would pick Buffalo tonight.
Okay, finally you've come to reason. Now you like Josh Allen. You've finally seen the light. It's good.
No, I don't like
It's
the
comforting.
Titans having not practiced.
Not practiced and really.
Practice matters.
I'm not sure they've played a really great team yet either. Look who they've beaten. This is a strong play by Wallow here. This is not a dartboard pick. This is
No, Dave, we can't trust you anymore. We think it's all darts.
No, not this time. I'm calling this a non-dartboard.
I told you it wasn't hard to do, and to don't be cracking on Drew like that. And you hadn't heard me crack on him.
No. That was darts. This is smarts.
So this is a Wolo Smarts pick.
Exactly.
10,000 stars?
Something like that.
You going to give the rest of the year away free if you lose?
Sure. Anybody wants to take that, they can have it.
Oh, man.
What's your top story?
Are you done?
I'm done.
I didn't know if that was my segue or not. What your top story? A very rare Tuesday NFL game. Buffalo. I think they've been treated horribly in this whole Titans negligence. They're 4-0 against the 3-0 Titans. The Bills can join Seattle at 5-0 after tonight. We know only 4 unbeatens will remain in the NFL. This is two of the NFL original AFL teams. And this is the first time there's been a Tuesday night game since 2010 when the Vikings and Eagles played. And that was the first Tuesday night game since 1946 when the New York Giants played the Boston Yanks.
Why was there a Tuesday night game then?
Blizzard in both of them, I think.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. This one we'll call the COVID game. I mean, that's what it is.
Forever.
And I think really because of the shenanigans that Tennessee did, I honestly think that the Buffalo Bills should have been spotted 10 points. But, that's just me. They don't need it. They don't need it tonight.
Boy, you're big on the Bills.
Big on the Bills tonight. It's a Wallow smart, not a dart pick.
Not top story of the day.
Well, we got a bunch of COVID news, that is for sure. Dustin Johnson is withdrawn from the CJ Cup at Shadow Creek. Have you ever played Shadow Creek?
Where is it?
Well, you've never been in Vegas. Didn't you tell me that? You've never been
I've never been to Vegas.
No.
I've never been to Nevada.
I honestly, there's 2 golf courses in America now that I want to play now that I've been to the Greenbrier.
Augusta National.
Well, actually, there's 3. Augusta National is always number 1, and, that's probably never going to happen. But Augusta National, obviously. Then there is Alotian in Little Rock, which I think will happen someday. The third one is Shadow Creek in Vegas. You got to be like a big-time player to play Shadow Creek.
Well, that's you, Dave. That's how you roll. Just
Well,
go out there.
I make picks, but I don't put down the bread.
No, just go out there and throw a brick of $10,000 on that field bet.
I promise you, if I did that, I would be at Shadow Creek. There is no doubt in my mind.
I don't know that would get you there. I don't.
Yeah, well, but Dustin Johnson won't be there either, but it's not because of not being a big-time player. It's because he's got COVID, so he's withdrawn. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the great soccer players, football players in the world, he had to leave the Portugal national squad after a game the other day because he has COVID. There is a spike in Shelby County, and in particular, they're saying the areas where it's getting a bit concerning. This is the Shelby County Health Department saying this. We've got growth of cases in Bartlett, in Lakeland, and in Millington. So if you live in that area, please put on a mask. Please social distance because it is spiking there. 341 new cases today. That means 33,000, almost 500 in Shelby County. Good news, 0 deaths. A lot of tests, 5,100 tests. But remember, we've been down in the 3 and 4 percentile. It's still way under 10%, but it's 6.8% positivity. Hospitalizations have gone up slightly in the last 24 hours. We've got 8 million across the United States. Now 8,220,000 deaths, and across the world, 38.3 million cases, 1,088,000 fatalities, 28.3 million recoveries, so about 8.3 million active cases worldwide. That's your dashboard for today.
My not top story, the Braves up 1-0 over the Dodgers, 1 down, 3 to go. It won't be easy. We got a little easier with the Clayton Kershaw scratch. The Dodgers are that good. I think they would have been the team over 162. I think they would have been to this position regardless how the season could have played out, whether it had been 100 games, 125 games, 60 or 162 games. But they have trouble closing. Something catches them every October. Since 1988, the Kirk Gibson home run in Game 1, and that anniversary is coming up on Thursday, October 15th, 1988. Dodgers haven't won a World Series. They won it 4-1 that year on the momentum of that big Game 1 win, and they spend a lot of money to not have the ultimate trophy.
Well, I was amazed. I thought when they tied the game up 1-1, I thought momentum sort of swung their way, and they had what I thought was this great bullpen, and it worked until the 9th, and then boom, 2-run homer, but boom, another 2-run homer, and suddenly the game is completely over. And then you get the news today about Kershaw. It's back spasms, and that's always tricky because, back spasms can be a long time. Sometimes you're good in 2 days. They go in, you go to see a chiropractor, and you're all right. You take a meloxicam. It's an anti-inflammatory. Suddenly you're okay. But otherwise, who knows? Oh, that didn't work, and you're not sure what to do because backs are tricky. Not good at all. And But here's the good thing is they've got this guy Tony Gonsolin who's going to start today. His numbers are every bit as good as Kershaw's. This is a guy who may be Rookie of the Year. So
not Hall of Famer Goose Gosselin, is it?
No, Gonsolin. Tony
Gotcha.
Gonsolin. And that is tonight, the Dodgers and the Braves. Those are your top and your not top stories. We mentioned we will be talking to Gabe Kuhn momentarily. Brent Beard, college football, and his great notes. We talk the NFL with Jeff Moore. We'll talk a little Buffalo and Tennessee with him. Same thing with Bo Marchant. And then crunch time will come your way at about 5:50. We are officially underway on this Tuesday edition of Sports Time on Sports 56.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing, we can help you with your wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably time to replace them. We've got great deals on wipers that can stand up to any weather. Right now, you can get a $10 AutoZone gift card by mail or email when you buy 2 Rain-X Quantum wiper blades. And with our next day delivery and free same-day store pickup, you can get them fast. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Lowe's has a brand new flooring showroom filled with all types of floors. Scratch-resistant floors for toddlers and their toys. Easy-to-clean carpets for canines. Stain-resistant floors for scrumptious suppers. Even floors for yogis finding out how flexible they are. There's floors for all. And they're all at Lowe's. Book now and have yours installed by the holidays. Install available, in-store only. Holiday install applies to basic install and subject to date restrictions, installer, and product availability. See Lowe's.com for details and licensing. Contiguous U.S. only.
Football season is in full swing, which means Hulu has live sports. You can watch your favorite players like Baker Mayfield on Hulu Plus Live TV. Get access to over 65 live channels, plus the largest streaming TV library, including exclusive originals and the hottest shows and movies. Start your free trial today so you don't miss a moment. Live TV plan required. Restrictions apply. Learn more at Hulu.com.
It is time for the final clearance sale at James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. Listen to this, 70 to 80% off on all spring and summer merchandise. You heard me, James Davis, 70 to 80% off on all spring and summer merchandise. Unreal selection of sports coats and sports shirts for your next Zoom call. Limited selection of shorts and knits, but there are some. If you get there, you'll get 70 to 80% off. Here's some of the brands you can save on during this incredible sale. Peter Millar, Sandstrom, Mac 5 Pocket. I'm talking 70 to 80% off while it lasts. The only place in Memphis that you can find the Stant custom shirt and pants system. Only at James Davis, this exclusive store for this unique custom fitting apparel where shirts start as low as $98, pants at $168. Go see it to believe it. The clearance sale at James Davis.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stack. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. We're going to talk with Gabe Kuhn here in just a minute. The Redbirds are doing a really cool thing. AutoZone Park is going to host a free movie night this Saturday at 6. So it could be a big the movie starts at 7. Gates open at 6. Could be a big day. It could be a doubleheader for you. Tiger game followed by taking the kids to see this movie. The movie is called Trolls. It's a hit movie called Trolls World Tour. I have no idea what that is, but I thought it's free, and it's at AutoZone Park. You can
Sounds
come.
fun, though.
Yeah, it sure does.
It's not a bad movie.
So we congratulate the Redbirds for doing that. And as we said, the gates
Are you a
open at
movie
6.
critic now, Drew?
No, but it has Anna Kendrick in it. Even though it is her voice, I watch anything that has Anna Kendrick
I
in
like
it.
Anna Kendrick, too. We have that in common. How about
I don't know who she is.
Well,
Who is she?
Google her. She's
I think there's
Red
kind
hair.
of a limit out there at Google, and I don't want to talk. I don't want to max mine out.
You think? Say that again.
I think there's a Google hitting. I think there's a limit at the Google machine, and I don't want to max mine out.
That's the first time I've heard that. Because if there is, I've maxed mine out, man. I use Google every day. I promise you that.
We love to max it out with Big Gabe Kuhn with us every Tuesday afternoon. Talking Tigers, he knows that subject matter along with Dave and with Drew. I'll tell you, y'all better listen to them. They know the Tigers. It's brought to you by Crab Kings, Neil's Bar and Grill, Bartlett Small Engines, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, and Southland Casino. In Southland Casino, they're ready to welcome you back. Blackjack, craps, roulette, slots, all rolling. The sports book betting, it's reopened, the most spacious casino floor in the Mid-South, ready to welcome you back with blackjack, roulette, craps, and all your favorite slots. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and make the short drive to Southland. They are ready for you.
So, big guy, Gabe Kuhn, do you have a real feel? Do you have a real emotion when I say UCF Knights?
I must say, first of all, before we even get into football talk, I am very disturbed that Drew is goo goo gaga over the cartoon troll version of Anna Kendrick. I am deeply, deeply disturbed.
Gabe, we've had this conversation before, how much I love Anna Kendrick. I don't care if it's just her voice. I'm going to watch it.
This is the voice.
All right, I'm going to the Google machine. I may max out, but here we go. Anna.
I mean, Anna, I don't get the total fascination with her. I mean, she's funny and she's attractive, got a nice style about her.
Well, when they make the rom-com about my life, she's going to be my love interest. Just so you know.
Okay.
No Scarlett Johansson?
Nope, Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick, man. Okay.
But anyway, yes, let's talk a little football. UCF, is there any emotion? Yes, I personally came up short twice against that team, especially in my senior year. That was the first time I actually got to play them. So I guess the emotional response would be a little bit of, I wouldn't say anger, but I'd say a little bit. You want to beat them. They are the premier team, more or less, in the American Athletic Conference year after year. So it's always
is it a rival?
Circle. I'm sorry.
Is it a rival?
I wouldn't even call it rival. I don't know if the history is fully there enough, but it's definitely getting there.
I think it's a rival, and I'll tell you exactly why it's a rival. You played them twice in a championship game. You absolutely want to play them again for a championship this year, and there are pretty good odds that you will face either the Knights or the Bearcats, and the Bearcats obviously have a leg up. So does SMU at this moment. But I know there's going to be all kinds of upsets this year. We already saw that with Tulsa beating UCF. So it's a rivalry because they've already beaten you in several big games, and they were great classic games.
I will not argue with you on that. I think the history needs to write itself a little bit more before we start calling it a full rivalry. But I agree with your sentiments there. I think this year is going to be a very interesting one, given both teams are coming off losses. UCF's a little more nasty than Memphis is, but both teams coming off losses 2 weeks ago. They had their layoff week. We'll see how they are emotionally a week removed from those losses. I'm very curious as to what that will look like. I know you think that it may be a little bit slow, given that the 2 week layoff for Memphis after their big COVID layoff might be somewhat of a concern, given the tackling that was displayed in the first quarter of that game against SMU. But I'm curious as to how both these teams respond to that time off.
Gabe, what do you think of the tackling epidemic that appears to be around college football?
I think that, truthfully, I think it just has to do with COVID-19 and the year it's been. There's been less and less of contact during practice just because, one, you have less people. Two, given that you have less people, you're not going to want to hit and get people hurt along with the people you have to sit down for COVID. And I think a lot of it has to do with some coaching staffs, for the most part, focusing on offensive football. There's been somewhat of people neglecting to address their defensive side of the football as much as they want their offensive side of the football to succeed. So maybe that's part of it. But I think mostly just this season, you've seen a lot more teams struggling because they didn't get that spring ball in. They didn't get any of that off-season work in.
Let's go back to this too. So many head coaches now are offensive-minded head coaches. We go through these cycles all the time. And I want to ask you this, and I'll throw it out after you, Gabe, to Brett, because there's a story in the Commercial Appeal today written by Clarion Ledger writer Nick Suss, who does a pretty good job, I think, for covering the Ole Miss Rebels. And he's pointing out that Ole Miss's defensive numbers are some of the worst that we've seen in years. And I've always been of the belief that coaches on one side of the ball, if they're the head coach, they're going to get the best athletes on their side of the ball. That just is the way it works. I think the better athletes for the Tigers the last 10 years since Justin Fuente arrived, if you're a great athlete that you come to the school and you're not necessarily totally defined to a particular position, that you end up on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm wondering if that's the same thing with Lane Kiffin, because it seems to me there's a lot of great athletes on that side of the ball, his side, offense, not so much defense. Do we see that in the game today, the way it's evolved, that if you're the head coach, usually the better athletes are on the side of the ball you coach? Is that fair?
I maybe you recruit better. Maybe you get better recruits in there. I wouldn't say athleticism-wise that there's that big of a difference between offense and defense. You still have fantastic defensive backs that can handle some of the athleticism from those wide receivers. So I don't know if I'm fully on board with that, but I do see a correlation between if you're a offensive or defensive minded head coach, that side of the ball may have better athletes, better recruits on it. I can see that.
Well, Gabe, one thing about UCF, we know everybody knows what they're going to run and what they're going to try to do offensively. They're not really going to be ground and pound. We know they're not going to come out in the triple option. So the defensive staff at the University of Memphis ought to have a library of pretty good a pretty good idea of what they want to do and a way of at least slowing them down a little bit, shouldn't they?
They should. They should. And luckily, you got to face the sort of I'm not going to say the same, but a very similar attack against SMU, and the fact that they're going to want to air it out a lot because they both have talented quarterbacks. This week, you get Dylan Gabriel, who, in my opinion, as far as talent goes, I think he's the top tier of the AAC. He's still young, and I think he makes some mistakes at times. But he talent-wise is there. But you have guys in Marlon Williams, Jalen Robinson for UCF that are going to be very similar, and this is going to be nightmarish to some Memphis fans that are very similar to Reggie Roberson. They're very, very talented wide receivers, and they should have an idea of what to do. But again, with this amount of talent, with this amount of production that you see out of these UCF offensive guys, it's still going to be tough. You can come in with a game plan, and I think you saw it through the last three quarters of that SMU game. It seemed like the Tigers were sort of coming into their own. It seemed like they were sort of grasping and understanding more what was expected of them with Mike McIntyre's system. But again, these are fantastic players and playmakers on UCF side of the ball. So it's still going to be a massive challenge to hold them down for a long time, for over the course of the game. They're going to get a certain amount of offensive production. That's what their entire team is based upon with Josh Heupel. So I think they'll have a plan, but UCF's talent is going to foil some of those plans at times.
Well, I can say this. I am really glad that kid Colleen is no longer with him. He's playing in the NFL now, and I will miss him because.
Wait, who are you talking about? I'm sorry.
Colleen.
Colleen?
He's the guy that returned. He got the ball on a little slot around and went past everybody like 3 years ago. Remember, he outran everybody, even people that had angles on him. I think his name was
Are
Colleen.
you talking about Adrian Killen?
Killen. I'm sorry. You're right. Killen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But they still do. They still do have guys that the Tigers should be used to in that backfield. Otis Anderson and Greg McRae have been there for quite a while now, and they've got to see their fair share of those guys. They'll split carries quite a bit, and they're able to run the ball. But I will say, Adrian Killens, his speed was elite and just unstoppable at times. But the Tigers are still going to have to deal with somewhat of a rushing attack from this UCF offense.
When the Tigers need to run it, do you think they can run it enough?
I do. I think the UCF defense struggled the first 2 weeks against Georgia Tech and who else? I forget who else they played, but they gave up upwards of 230 yards rushing, and then
Georgia Tech, East Carolina, and Tulsa.
Yes, and then Tulsa, East Carolina is the other game that they gave up quite a bit rushing. Then against Tulsa, they tried to make a effort to try to hold them down, and they held Tulsa down to about 150 yards rushing. But the Tigers are probably the best rushing attack that UCF's seen so far this year. I imagine game plan-wise that's going to be a big part for that UCF defense. But that Memphis offense, what we've seen through Mike Norvell and now Ryan Silverfield with the inventiveness, with the execution in the run game, it's going to be a big part of their game plan, and they're going to execute it. UCF, again, they're going to come with a plan, but I think the Tigers are going to be able to assert their will on the ground in this one.
We are getting some news breaking. Drew has put this up. Florida has paused football activities today after AD Scott Strickland says the team experienced an increase in positive COVID tests among players this week. And so I guess this is an indefinite pause. Players' circumstances will be reevaluated by the Florida Health Department and Athletic Department sports medicine staff tomorrow. So that game that they have scheduled for this week might be off the board. We'll have to wait and see. And I guess they'll make that determination tomorrow.
And impacts A&M, the opponent from last week, because now they're on high alert.
Sure.
I saw 5 this morning out of Florida. It's also interesting that, what was it, last week Dan Mullen mentioned he wanted 90,000. He wanted a full crowd at their home stadium. So it's just very, very interesting stuff going on there for sure.
Let me ask you a little bit back to the UCF-Memphis game. This ball club, UCF, no surprise, they average 42 points a game. They get about 197 yards on the ground and a lot through the air, 385 yards. So you're talking 582 yards and change every game. Now they've beaten Georgia Tech and they won. And maybe Georgia Tech's a little bit better, so we should respect that one. They put 49 on them. They killed East Carolina, and that was in Greenville. They put 51 on them, and then they could only score 26 against Tulsa, which I think we all agree is a much better team than a lot of people thought to begin the year. They have not always been the most physical. They're just really great finesse football teams. That's what I always thought Scott Frost had, and Josh Heupel's kind of carried that thing over. What would you say about their offensive line? How would you characterize that offensive line of theirs?
They're okay. They've done well in recruiting. UCF has, so they have a decent running game. I don't think it's non-existent. I don't think it's very explosive without Adrian Killens, who you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But it's there. It's existent, I will say.
It's enough.
But yes, it's enough. But the one thing I will say is with UCF, if you limit big plays, you make it very tough for them. If you make them work as hard as possible for every single score, it will be tough. They'll pucker themselves out, and then they'll start to slow down as the game goes on. But it's very tough. That's way easier said than done because this has been probably the most explosive offense over the past 4 or 5 years in the country. Just truth be told, between Mackenzie Milton and now Dylan Gabriel. So I really think that when it comes down to it, limiting those explosive plays is going to be the most important thing for that Tiger defense.
Since you brought up Mackenzie Milton, we saw Alex Smith come back, and Mackenzie Milton's injury was, I don't know, every bit as bad as Alex Smith's was. Does that give you think, or UCF fans, any hope that maybe some? I know he's working out with the team. I don't think he puts pads on, but he's still going to try, I think, and come back next year. Do you have hope for him based on what we see with Alex Smith?
I do, for him to come back. But here's the thing, Dave, and I think you know this from obviously covering the team and seeing how they use Mackenzie Milton. If he comes back, which he's planning on doing, they can't use him in the same way they used to use him. They can't. I mean, he was a integral part of that run game. He got hit quite a bit, and that's part of the reason his leg ended up the way it did.
Right.
I don't know how effective he will be now with that being a big part of how he's going to have to take care of himself. Because, again, you can't throw him out there with all those screws in his leg, all that metal in his leg, and expect him to be able to run the ball like he did before he got injured. So I have hope for him to come back, but I have serious doubts about how it will look like when he actually is back.
As always, my friend, we appreciate your wisdom. You're right on the money with that, and we'll do this again. You have any prediction for the game on Saturday?
Here's the thing. I think the Tigers are going to control the clock more than we've seen in quite a bit. And the truth of the matter is, if they can limit big plays, which I think in the first half of the game against SMU they were not able to do, they have a good chance to win. I don't necessarily have a prediction, but I will say right now, if UCF comes out firing and gets a bunch of explosive plays, it could be a really, really long day.
He is Gabe Kuhn, and we talk Tigers with him every Tuesday in this time slot. Thank you, Gabe.
Absolutely. See you, fellas.
All right. And Brett, let's go over again. Who brings you, Gabe, every week?
Crab Kings, Neil's Bar and Grill, Bartlett Small Engines, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, and Southland Casino. Make the short drive to Southland. They're ready for you.
We are back in just a minute. We'll put a wrap on this very first hour on this gorgeous Tuesday of Sports Time on Sports 56.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
In today's world, a lot is going on, but one thing is always true. You need to take care of yourself. The skin clinics can help. Age, diet, genetics, and current events can conspire to make you look and feel much older than you are. It doesn't have to be that way. Call the skin clinics and let their expertly trained nurses, estheticians, and staff choose the treatment that best suits you and your pocket. There's so much you can do. Consider skin resurfacing and rejuvenation, lash extensions and specialty brows, injectables, medical-grade chemical peels, laser hair reduction, waxing, facials, makeup applications, and even services just for men. The Skin Clinics has it all in a caring, safe environment, always observing current social distancing guidelines. Go to theskinclinic.com to find out more and call today for your appointment at 901-345-SKIN. That's 901-345-SKIN. Taking care of yourself is good for you and your loved ones. Come to the Skin Clinics, 1300 Wolf Park Drive in Germantown.
Looking for some action on your favorite games? Action247.com is at your service. Action 24/7 free-to-play games are brought to you by Tennesseans for Tennesseans. Come play with us online at Action247.com. Our free-to-play games are fun and easy. Go to Action247.com and click Let's Play. And best of all, you can win cash prizes. That's right, cash prizes. Free to play online at Action247.com. You got action.
Hey Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Wolf Chase Honda Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday night at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. You never know which Tigers great we'll have in the studio with us either. We'll get them to call in too. We are your go-to show for Memphis Tigers football. That's the Wolf Chase Honda Blue and Gray Show right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Welcome back in as we cruise through our very first hour on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. So, I'm looking at the ramifications of this Florida new COVID deal. And so you mentioned, Brett, A&M is affected.
They're at State.
So they're at Mississippi State. So that game could be in the weeds, depending on, I guess, how all these tests come out. And Florida's supposed to play LSU. So now there's two games that could be affected by all of this. And this is just, again, this is what we live with now.
Now, A&M and State both have an open date next week. So that would, as much as anything's easy this year, that would be a little more accommodative for Florida and LSU. I'm trying to see if they share an open date. They do not. So that could go to December 12th, where now Mizzou and Vandy are going, and that's the built-in flex week after the conclusion of the regular season, before the SEC championship game, kind of built in for COVID makeups. But A&M and State, as easy as anything would get this year, that would be okay. And you know, that might be all right for State. They might want a little reset right now.
Maybe so. I think it was also very
A&M wants to play.
I think it was really smart too, the way they did this. Okay, so you're talking about State and A&M both off the following week. So the way they did it is what? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4 teams each week. I guess 1 week there's going to be 6
in the middle period.
In the middle, so starting the 24th, 31st, and the 7th of November, everybody's off one time. So you could actually
you can do some shuffling.
You can shuffle around games, move them here and there, so that you end up with the same availability. And of course, you've got December the 12th, which is your fallback week if you need that. So,
quick how hard. We knew this wasn't going to be easy. Quick how hard one. We knew this wasn't going to be easy, but has it been easier or harder to October 13th than you thought it would be? Easier or harder to this moment, 3:54 on October 13th?
I think it's been a little bit harder. But
I do too, Dave.
But
I do too.
Not as terrible.
Almost a lot harder.
Not as terrible as it could have been. I mean, if we're going to paint a nightmare scenario,
nightmarish because nobody's been in the hospital, nobody's been really, really ill that we know of, and I trust these places.
And thank God, no fatalities.
That's right.
And think about this.
We're talking about fatalities. Should we have ever started?
Well, no. Everybody has now, of the conferences that are playing, everybody's played. And you couldn't say that about Temple or Houston even a week ago. And, you know, some of these circumstances weren't even all just the American. There were a couple of games that, Memphis had the Houston game canceled, then Houston found Baylor, and Baylor got that thing canceled. So
there are a couple of real lightning rods out there.
And that's why they didn't play a game.
And Dave, think about the Baylor-Houston example, and now Florida's problem. I don't know. I'm speculating. I'm asking the question. Could it be a Texas thing? A state of, an area of.
I don't know. They were the ones that had 50,000 people at the game, right? Hey,
had a pretty good crowd.
Who's to say that couldn't have been mingling with fans after the game? For all I know, I'm throwing that out there.
I don't know.
You would think seriously if that many administrators and players got COVID from that game in Texas, then A&M's got to have it too. Don't they?
You think?
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see what their tests say before that. I hate to say this, but it appears to me, and I don't know that we'll ever get it totally clarified, but it certainly seems to me that Memphis's problems with the COVID that they ended up having after the Arkansas State game, that came from a parent's van where a few players went to see one kid's mom and dad. Let's go. Mom and dad said, come over for, a Coke after the game. And they did. So, that same thing could have happened with Florida. Who knows? I'm not saying, and I'm not pointing the fingers at anybody. I'm really not. I'm just saying it could go so many different ways. It'll be very interesting to see what A&M's tests are like. And if they had 50,000 people there, then you would have to go, whoa, look at all those people that might be involved in this then. Now you really got a contact tracing nightmare. If that is the case, and we do not know anything of that nature, at least at this point. That's an hour in the books. We're sitting here in the Family Leisure Studios. Love being here, but I love going to the real deal. Family Leisure is just a cool place to go. You want to see all the latest in grills, how to cook, they've got it. You want to see the latest, and this is a thing for the fall. And I'm just saying this, they don't even have this on my copy. I love their fire pits. They've got the coolest fire pits there. And, of course, if you want chairs for the fire pits, they've got everything. It's their goal to make your backyard or your patio a staycation place. And now they're doing it with spas. They've been doing this since September. It ends at the end of October. Up to 30% off on spas and even the big swim spas. And there's hundreds to choose from multiple manufacturers. You'll love what you see. They're all state-of-the-art. Special financing is available. Also, if you're still running your pool like I am, you really take advantage because now they've got these special prices on chemicals and accessories as the pool season winds down. Professional delivery always available at I-40 and Whidden Road. That's I-40 just a little bit north when you get off on Whidden. You'll see the place that, man, they bring family and fun together. It's called Family Leisure. Back in a minute when we return, more on college football and what's going on in Florida. We'll get the take from Brent Beard down in Jacksonville when we come back to Sports Time.
Get your gun, Nelly, and saddle up, Penelope. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on over 800 new Buicks and GMCs, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 150 in stock. Sunrise has rustled up a good-looking herd of cars and trucks under $99.95. Ranch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help put your brand on one of these little fillies. Come on in and save some money during Western Trading Days at Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. Cars cost less at Sunrise, partner.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Services is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready to operate on those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Call this week and ask for the early bird special, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, WPGFLP Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in on this gorgeous Tuesday here, a day where COVID is very much in our presence. Big story at the moment, Florida shutting down their football program for at least until tomorrow, with players and other administrators in the Florida Athletic Department having COVID. Today, Dustin Johnson tested for COVID, had a withdraw from an event at Shadow. I'm trying to remember the name of the one of my favorite courses, Shadow Creek. Thank you, Shadow Creek in Vegas. And we had Cristiano Ronaldo had to leave for the Portugal national team because of COVID. So we've had spikes here a little bit, in particular in Bartlett, in Lakeland, and in Millington. So we know it is pretty much here. We go down to Florida in Jacksonville, and Memphis is playing UCF, so there's a lot of Florida ties this week that we can get into with our friend Brent Beard. But let's start with this potential shutdown of the Florida program. They're supposed to play LSU this week, so there's that connection. They played A&M last week. I'm sure people are looking to see what the A&M tests are going to be like. I think there wasn't there 50,000 in that stadium last week when they played, and you had Dan Mullen going, we got to get 90,000 in Florida. I'm sure he's going to take that one a little bit slower now. What's going on down there?
Well, it's just speculation at this point. We had heard that they had 5 players that tested, and then the student newspaper, The Alligator, said they had 19. Now the student Alligator paper is coming off of that, saying that is not accurate according to university officials. So they have basically just halted the normal activities right now. They will reevaluate it in the morning, see where they need to go from there. But the problem with things like this is Dan Mullen talking about wanting 90,000 in the swamp just has made him an easy target on Twitter at the moment. So now my understanding is, looking ahead, the only date that would work for both schools would be that December the 12th date. Now, this is one of the reasons, unlike the Big Ten, that of course, they started later in fairness, or will start later. But one thing that the SEC did that really was smart was to put in the 2 bye weeks in situations like this, and hopefully they can be able to get it in. These are 2 teams that need wins, but right now you just need to see where we're going with this and reevaluate it tomorrow and go from there.
And Brent, you're right about Dan Mullen kind of being the pinata on the old Twitter machine for wanting a crowd there. But let's try to take a little bit of his point of view. When the governor of the state of Florida says, come one, come all, you can. That doesn't mean you have to, but you can if you want to. Then why, and then he wants to, and he gets pilloried far and wide. Why is he such the bad guy? I mean, I know it's still very virulent, but when the governor says you can, now Stephen Ross and the Dolphins aren't. I don't think the Buccaneers are. The Jaguars, even if they did, nobody still would show.
Right.
But why is Dan Mullen public enemy number one on this?
Well, he shouldn't be, but he is an easy target because he wants to. And look, Mullen thought that whatever the number at A&M was, and it was above the norm, that's for sure. It was we need a crowd like that to root us on too, and we can gain energy out of. Now, here's a reality of that too. When Mullen got back, and although he frankly doubled down on it, that's what he did. But the Florida president said, school president, that they would follow the CDC guidelines. And look, guys, the thing we heard this morning was that whatever number of tickets they had for sale, your typical 17 to 20,000 like everybody else, that there were plenty of those tickets still left themselves. So it's not like they were lined up at the ticket office to get to buy tickets for the game. But Brett's right. Unfortunately, people take this on Twitter as far as what a coach says, and they will ridicule that, and Mullen will go through that. Doesn't deserve it. I agree with that. But right now, all he can do is just to monitor where his players are and go from there.
I am curious, Brent, do you know what the number of people at Kyle Field were at A&M last week?
And I'll be honest with you, Dave, I haven't seen a number for that at all, unless you guys
I don't think anybody knows, but it was a lot.
I don't. I really don't know. I mean, it looked like. Look, I mean, when you got a crowd like that, it could have been 25, Dave and Brett, and people think it's 50. So, there really is no number out there right now, because if there had been a number from the Kyle Field crowd, that I think would have come out by now.
We've been lied to so badly through the years about attendance. I mean, just laughable nature. When they've said it was 48,000, when you knew it was closer to 48 people there than it was to 48,000 at some places. Same in basketball. It's everybody. It's everybody. That pox on everybody's house. So I don't know how many are in these stadiums.
No, there's no really way.
Well, how many were supposed to be allowed? Because I thought the governor of Texas had said 50%. At Kyle Field, it's 102,000 or 101,000, whatever it is. That means they could have had 50,000. And
I thought it was around 50.
I mean, it may have been, but there has been nothing. Frankly, I haven't even seen a guess, to be honest with you. And I talk to people on Twitter every day, all day long, just about. So,
well, the scary thing on that for me is contact tracing. If indeed A&M's got it too, and we can go back and we can say, well, players went to see mamas and daddas after the game in the parking lot, and you're talking about a potential 50,000 people contact tracing. Whew, that is some tough stuff. Now, I may be an alarmist here, and I hope I am. I hope this doesn't happen. I hope A&M's got none of it. It was all contained to the Florida side, and it's 5 players. I mean, at this point, it's not a crisis, like you say. They could say tomorrow it was 5 guys, and here's what happened. They were by the equipment truck. Everything's taken care of. These guys are isolated. We got no more. We're going to test again tomorrow. But right now the game is on. I mean, that could happen. But if it's the other way, you got a nightmare with 50,000 people there.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
sure
you
you
do.
do. But
Brent, we do know
nothing
that.
out of the ordinary with A&M at this point. I mean, obviously they will test and they will go through and be able to see. But I think at the beginning of the year, guys, we knew we'd have some of this. And again, the league was smart by adding having the buys in the open dates. So, and I saw on Twitter a minute ago, do they need to delay the SEC championship game even another week and give them 2 weeks instead of one at the end of the year to get these games in? So I'm sure everybody will monitor this and see where it goes at this point. But right now, that's really kind of where we are. But again, what also makes it more dramatic is we've got two teams that are coming from basically last play of the game losses, and that makes it more intriguing in the media too.
Yeah, it does. We know this. I don't know the crowd at Kyle Field Saturday, but I know Florida plays no defense. I saw it opening day. They're big, they're pretty, they're fast. Everybody in football recruited them. They don't hit anybody. And Brent, I saw the same thing out of Alabama.
I know. Well, and you've got in Florida, LSU and Alabama right now are among the worst ranked defensive teams anywhere. And guys, I think what we're seeing here is something that we've talked about or at least alluded to, and we're seeing it being fleshed out more now, is I think it's two things. I think, one, the offenses have a real advantage right now because we're basically playing 7-on-7 football. If you want to call it Big 12 football, that's fine. But if you've got a good quarterback and good receivers, i.e. Ole Miss, you can really make some hay right now. And I think what's going on the other side of the ball is these teams, and even more than that, frankly, are not that they haven't hit like they normally do. They haven't worked on tackling, obviously, like they need to be able to do. They need to be in position to make plays, and that has that's really hurt these defenses. They've got a lot of work to do right now, and frankly, the teams that we mentioned in the SEC, the ones who can shore that up the fastest will obviously be the ones who likely will be in Atlanta, but it is an unusual time in this league to see the offense is so far ahead of the defenses.
All right, let me ask it to you like this, and I know this because I read your notes. 3 of the top 5 offenses in the Power 5, Alabama, Florida, and Ole Miss, and 6 of the top 14, including A&M, LSU, and Missouri. Will they be in the top 14 when the year is said and done? In other words, will defenses catch up, or is this the way it'll be for the year?
That's a great question. I think, I'm sure after what Brent saw Saturday night, he thinks they may catch up next year. But at this point, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can't really change schemes. What I think you can do right now is you can focus on what you can focus on, which is simplifying some of these defenses, which Alabama certainly needs to do. I think it's way too complicated, and these players are thinking, reacting.
Very
You've got
disorganized.
to be able to work on tackling. That's one thing that Alabama was atrocious on. Of course, at the same time, Ole Miss has got some speed demons, and I can see how that can happen. But Dave and Brett, I think right now that's the most you can do is to do better in putting yourselves in position to make plays. I mean, we saw it in Alabama, Ole Miss. We saw it in LSU and Missouri. Coach Bryant Bryant used to say when a guy was wide open by 20 yards, he was out to practice early. Man, we saw that everywhere. I saw it in the Florida game too. A lot, way too much arm tackling, way too much. I want to use my shoulder to knock you out of bounds. So, guys, I think right now it is what can you control for this thing to get better until the end of the year.
You cover the ACC a lot, and this today is really a historic day in college football. 12 years ago today, Tommy Bowden resigned, and Clemson hired Dabo Swinney as its interim head coach. Just see what you can do with the team. Good luck. Probably going to hire somebody at the end of the year. Yep. And it ended up being one of the most significant hires in the history of college football. For current day college football, Mal Moore not taking a no from Nick Saban and Jimmy Sexton and Miss Terry selling him on taking the Alabama job, and today are the two most significant current day hires in college football.
And I would say, you guys, I know, remember this. When they hired and promoted Dabo, in the beginning it was, he's a cute, energetic guy that's a good recruiter, and basically
he was the substitute school teacher.
The job, which is what any of us do in our careers. Now, to me, when he really matured in that job is when he had to cut some of his and make a change in his coordinators because it just wasn't working. And if I remember that right, Chad Morris was one of them, the Arkansas coach, and he had to make that decision because they had been friends for quite a while. But Brent's right about that. It was at that time it was insignificant, but listen, he has taken over that league, and I can tell you right now, that chasm between Clemson and the rest of the league is still as wide as it has been over the last few years.
Well, Notre Dame may close that up a little bit, huh?
Maybe, which would be a tremendous game when they play. Let's say this. They'll have that opportunity, and I think they'll be able to close it a little more than Miami did, right?
Well, that I was very disappointed in Miami in that game. I thought they had closed the gap, and I guess we all yearn for history and love tradition. And
sure.
How many times do we say, "Oh, Miami's back," and then we realize they're not.
Texas is.
No. Hey, listen. I heard this stat a few minutes ago on Texas, and I'm sure I'm off with the numbers, but since 2010, someone that has more time than the three of us crunched the numbers for Texas during that time, and again, the numbers are not that important, but it's the result. When they crunched the numbers in that 10-year period, it was like 157 wins and 157 losses. It was the same amount of wins and losses. And guys, you're talking about the University of Texas, and I can tell you this: Miami's numbers will be worse than that.
Let me ask you a little bit about Memphis and UCF, how much play that might get in your area. I'm sure Florida LSU, obviously, especially coming into the year, was going to be the talk of the weekend, and now it's certainly noteworthy because of the COVID issues that Florida is going through. But does there get much play around the state when Memphis plays UCF in, what I think Memphis – certainly not basketball, but football, I think it has become the rivalry game. I don't know if UCF perceives it that way.
Well, that's interesting to see if they, and I tell you what, they better. They certainly better not sleep on them. But I think there is some play with that. And let me kind of set up what's happening around the state right now. Florida State plays North Carolina. People who say, well, that's no big deal. Well, it is a big deal because North Carolina is undefeated for the first time in basically a decade at this point, and number 5 in the nation. Miami's playing Pitt, which may have the best quarterback in the league. Pitt's lost 2 games in a row by 1 point, and you've got Florida LSU right now. Obviously, that has some doubt on it going into May, and then you've got Memphis and UCF, and I think people would look, Dave. I think people would tune in that game. A, for the significance in the conference. B, there's got to be 1,000 yards and 1,000 points scored in that game before it's over. So I think there is a decent modicum of interest in it.
Well, we certainly if you're going to make it a rivalry game, you got to win one of these, and they've lost 13 in a row, but they've been great games, and usually there is a championship on the line. So it will be fun to see that. A couple of things are going on NCAA-wise. I'd love to pick your brain with.
Yes.
Tomorrow, I believe the free transfer,
correct,
without sitting out for 1 year will pass. I believe that's going to pass tomorrow. There was a poll that was taken, I think, by all of the Division I colleges, and there apparently seems to be overwhelming opinion that college sports needs to be restructured.
Well, on the first, I'll take the last one first. Yes, I think they've got to take a hard look at that and see what's working, what's not working. And I tell you what, guys, this COVID situation, I think, is causing us to look at some things a whole lot faster than maybe we thought we would. And as far as the transfer rule, my understanding with that is it should pass the appropriate committee in order to go to the full body in January, and it will be voted on then. And there is I'm not going to say it's going to be unanimous, but I think it may be close to that because this is a rule, and guys, this rule frankly would have probably passed this year, if not for COVID, or it may have been fast-tracked. I'll put it that way. So yes to both, and particularly the waiver rule. There's some guys in the SEC who wish that would have passed earlier. And again, what Dave and Brett are talking about is basically can we say your mulligan that everyone would get one free transfer without being penalized for it. So, and again, without COVID, that would have probably been, that may have been in play this year, not next year, but this year.
Yeah. As always, my friend, we appreciate your insight, and we'll be talking about these other things here.
Stay healthy
over the next few weeks
or
years, really.
It will be an interesting couple of days down here, as you can imagine.
Yeah. You stay healthy. I hope everybody. I hope this is 5 people and that's it, and it's easily contained. And we have a game on Saturday between Florida and LSU in the Swamp.
Great, guys. Appreciate you greatly, and we will talk soon. Okay.
You got it. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. That is our friend Brent Beard down in Jacksonville. Our title sponsor for this hour of the show is Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, and of course, it's the Genesis place, too. This is one great building, and they have really got it going. They have sold so many cars. Even in this pandemic, it's amazing. They're beating their own records that they'd set a year ago. Part of it is this product that is so good. You get a lifetime limited powertrain warranty on every new Hyundai, on every new Genesis, and with every one of their new cars, too, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. Every new Hyundai, every new Genesis comes with that. And safety, technology, outstanding. Hyundai tied for the most number of top safety vehicles in 2020, and they're only going to be even better in 2021. I should know I've got this new technology called Smart Park with my brand new 2021 Sonata. So I've got great safety technology in there where I push a button, I can't run into anything. It's the truth. And then I've got all those warranties and the miles for maintenance. I just feel as if I'm being taken care of, and that's how you feel too. If you go on Lamar into Mississippi, when you get to Craft Road, turn left, you're there. You will see why they've set the bar for the way car business should be done. I promise you, you'll love it at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Dave, I would like for people at 67129 at the First Bank text line or 360-8255 First Bank phone line. And First Bank, they got stories and a record of customers reaching high. Community banks, the preferred lender, people building a success story. Visit firstbankonline.com. That's firstbankonline.com. Let us know at the text line. The First Bank text line, 67129. If you got the come one, come all signal from the various entities, ruling bodies, ministers of health, everybody that pertains to our society now, if you got that, would you go to the stadium Saturday?
That is a great question. I've wondered that same thing myself. That's why I wanted to know what the number truly was at Kyle Field last Saturday.
Just give us, we'll go, won't go.
I'm really curious,
Let us know.
We have 12,000 available seats at the Liberty Bowl for the Tigers and UCF. We had 4,500. I know those were all full. There was no question. Everybody that got a ticket went to that game with 4,500. I'm curious if they sold all 12,000. I guess we'll see on Saturday because there are some people, and I'm sure we'll get them at the First Bank text line at 67129. They're going to go, you know what? I'm not ready to go yet, especially with the spikes that we just saw. In the health department just said today, if you live in Bartlett, if you live in Lakeland, if you live in Millington, we got a spike. Be careful. Wear masks. Social distance. It's not over. I'll be really curious what people say again. And you can call on the First Bank phone line. Same thing. What do you think? 901-360-8255. We got to take a timeout. Back with some of your input in just a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Have you thought about the holidays yet? Our friends at Window Genie not only clean windows, gutters, and concrete, they also hang holiday lights. Window Genie has a Christmas light rental program that includes custom design, installation, maintenance, takedown, and storage for your home or office. The best part, they're offering 15% off if you book by November 1st. Spend more time with friends and family this year and less time on the ladder. Call today for a free estimate, 901-424-4100. Window Genie, 901-424-4100.
Looking for some action on your favorite games? Action247.com is at your service. Action 24/7 free-to-play games are brought to you by Tennesseans for Tennesseans. Come play with us online at Action247.com. Our free-to-play games are fun and easy. Go to Action247.com and click Let's Play. And best of all, you can win cash prizes. That's right, cash prizes. Free to play online at Action247.com. You got action.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now, luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7, visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Lotion and Brett Norsworthy.
Halfway home here in the Family Leisure Studios on this Tuesday, we asked the question on the First Bank text line, would you go to a football game? Knowing what's going on in Florida, we got a game with 12,000 or so that'll be at the Liberty Bowl, and as you would expect, Brett, it's pretty mixed. The first guy that responded was no go. Second is, heck yeah, I'd go. Another, I'd go. No, why would you? Packed venues have been shown to increase COVID spread, and he's talking about alcohol involved. Another guy's, I'd go in a heartbeat. Yes, I would go. I also know on the Tigers website, there were a few tickets available yesterday, but almost all were row 60 and above. Absolutely, I'd go. I already have my ticket. It's bad now, says another, and we're still 2 weeks behind Italy. I think more would go, but certainly a pretty good percentage that are hesitant.
2 weeks. Ooh, man, we've heard 2 weeks a lot.
Yeah, we really have. We've got Tuesday night football. We were already way ahead of the game, Brett. Let's be honest. We've had Tuesday evening football forever with our own Jeff Moore. It is kind of crazy. The Bills and the Titans tonight, Jeff, and it's the first game. What did you say, Brett, since the 40s that we've had Tuesday night football?
Second game.
Had
one in 2010 and the last one before 2010. 1946, Jeff, and I was not there.
Wow. Wow, yeah, it's amazing, but it's 2020. Who knows what else we'll see before the end of this year. But I was glad to be able to see them or be able to slot in a game so that they didn't run the risk of having to look at another option. Because after you get past Tuesdays, it's really hard to kind of schedule a game after that day.
So tonight, we got a team that hasn't played much, hasn't practiced much against a hot team in Buffalo, and I assume they've been practicing. We've also got this sort of stigma on the Titans for kind of having cheated with a little limited practice at a high school football stadium. It seems to me, and you look at their schedule versus Buffalo, it seems to me that the Bills are should be the big favorites in this game tonight.
They should be. I mean, they're playing with a lot of confidence. Their quarterback just continues to evolve, and the way that he plays and the way they use him in terms of throwing the ball down the field to Stephon Diggs and just really just giving you a lot to prepare for. It's going to be a challenge. You know, the Titans have been running the football effectively. I think the key to playing an opponent like that is to get your running game going so you keep that offense on the sidelines and you give yourself a better chance to win.
Jeff, the Monday night game, it showed two things I thought really obviously last night. First of all, the Chargers have something in their young quarterback. I think he can build into being a big-time player. On the other side, a lot of Saints Super Bowl picks. They're not going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good. They've definitely got to tighten up defensively, and you know, I think Drew is going to play better when Michael Thomas is back in the lineup. There's no question with the kind of connection that they have. They give that offense a totally different dimension. They've got to play better though. But you know, I agree with that. I think the Chargers have to be excited about what they see in their young quarterback. He just he's an exceptional talent.
He really is, and you know, it's so odd the way they found out about him, because let's face it, that was not Coach Lynn's plan. He was going to play Tyrell Taylor. He was going to play him the whole way this first year and let this kid ease in. And because of that punctured lung from their own team doctor, they found this gem of a guy. And I don't see a real weakness in him. Do you?
I don't. I mean, if he has that it factor, he plays with a lot of confidence. He's willing to stand in there and take a hit to get a good throw off to a receiver that he thinks has a chance to make a play. He just has some intangibles that you just don't see that often in a young quarterback. And I can understand how Coach Lynn and his staff were not sure, because in this offseason, you just doesn't have your normal practice schedule and your OTAs where you're able to really see what kind of talent you had, and you didn't have preseason. So to try to protect them, I certainly understand the call, but they have to be excited to see what they've discovered.
The problem with the Saints, you think it's on the defensive side?
Well, I think the defensive side has to do with it. I think because their offense is really not churning the way they're accustomed to, their defense is just having to play more and play out of tough situations that they're just not accustomed to, waiting for this offense to get some snap to it.
Who do you think? Everybody thought Kansas City was. Who do you, or did one loss dissuade you from this? Who do you think's the best team in the NFL?
Boy, there's a razor difference between, to me, Seattle and Green Bay, and both have to do with the quarterbacks. Certainly Russell Wilson is doing it basically with a lot of guys that aren't considered all pros yet, but he does have some really exciting young talent. Defensively, they're not really stopping anybody, though, Seattle. They're just beating teams by having just an unstoppable offense. Green Bay has a lot more balance, and, of course, they have a great Hall of Fame quarterback as well. So just an edge to Green Bay because I think they play a little better defense than Seattle.
The Minnesota Vikings should have beaten Seattle. The Minnesota Vikings, I guess, went along with analytics and percentages, and on a 4th and 1, tried to put the game away right there and brought losing into play. They could have kept losing in regulation off the docket by kicking a chip shot field goal. And that, in retrospect, is a major mistake on Mike Zimmer's part. What was your sense while it was going on? What would you have done?
No, I think you kick the field goal, and you don't take a chance when you get in that situation. You just get the points and then let your defense go out there and stop them and win the game. So definitely, I think that the field goal should have been taken.
The Vikings, can they recover from this? Now they're 1-4. It seems to me that kind of a crushing thing can really cost you a season.
Well, it costs it that Green Bay and Chicago are just playing so well that it just puts them a little bit behind the 8 ball. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. See if they can get back in there. It's a long season.
Jeff, I really believe, especially in sports with coaches, managers, whatever, whoever the boss is, that when the day hits, and just about everybody in sports, you're all but hired to be fired at some point in almost any role around sports. But I think in the end, you fire yourself. Didn't Dan Quinn start the firing process in overtime on Super Bowl Sunday, or up 28-3, and letting that huge lead dissipate by refusing to work on the clock and run the ball? He kept running his stuff and quick 3 and outs.
Yeah, it's hard to look back at that situation and say that that's contributed to all of the lack of play that they've had since then. But for me, I felt like the Patriots just snatched the heart out of the Falcons with that loss, and they just never seemed to recover. They always were a team that, I don't care how much of a lead they got, you just never could count on them to get the game and get it across the finish line and win it enough times. And they played like a team that just were not sure of themselves.
You mentioned the Green Bay Packers and the Bears playing well. Bears are 4-1. Nick Foles now will be involved week 3. They're at Carolina, and Carolina's the favorite in that game. Do you start to believe in the Bears? One thing I do know, and I've been hard on my 4-1 Chicago Bears. I think their defense is pretty solid. I really do.
I do too. I think their line's improved. O-line.
I think their O-line is a little bit better, but they don't have a great running game. They do have They have some good receivers between Robinson, Miller, and sort of an aged Jimmy Graham.
But is there a home run hitter in there? They're good.
Well, I think Robinson is kind of a home run hitter. But do you believe in them at 4-1? This is a team that has a +5 score or a point differential, and they're 4-1.
It ain't how, Dave.
Well, I believe the one thing I like about them when I see them play is that they play hard, and at the end of the season, if you win if you have the number of wins you need to get in the playoffs, nobody's going to care if you won ugly or if the games were close or not. If that offense could get some continuity with Nick Foles and the defense continues to play the way they're playing, I like where they're headed. I like the trajectory. I really do.
We've talked about that NFC North. The NFC South is the one that everybody really was talking about early on because of Brady and Drew Brees. And now you got three teams, including the aforementioned Carolina Panthers, all 3-2. First of all, I don't think any of those teams are as good as the Green Bay Packers or the Seattle Seahawks, honestly.
Right.
But one of them's going to win, and I still think New Orleans is a better team than Tampa. What's your sense?
Well, I like Tampa a little bit better. Watching the way Tom is starting to get into a rhythm with these receivers, we knew that their defense was a good defense coming into the year, and they played pretty well. So, gosh, I like Tampa so far. I like them better than I like New Orleans, and I thought New Orleans was going to win it all. But they've really taken a step back in terms of just the way that they're playing is not the kind of football that I think is going to get them further into the playoffs.
Is this the last Sean Payton, Drew Brees chapter? It feels like Sean Payton is itching a little bit to go to Taysom Hill.
I don't know that they look at Taysom Hill as a full-time guy.
I hope not.
That could just take the ball and run your team for 4 quarters. He's more of a gadget player that creates a lot of problems for defenses. But no, I think, Sean Payton and Drew Brees will be joined at the hip for as long as Drew will stay there. And we just have to see how this season unfolds.
I'm not sure Drew will be around much longer, but I don't think Hill is going to be their answer at quarterback.
Right.
Speaking of quarterbacks, the Dallas Cowboys with a 2-3 record are ahead of everybody in the NFC least. I mean, that league is really bad. The Giants should have beat the Cowboys, and the best record would have been 1-2 for a bunch of these
Right.
teams. Can the Cowboys with Andy Dalton, and they signed today a little backup. They got Garrett Gilbert off the Cleveland Browns practice squad. Can they, with Dalton, still win that division because it's so bad?
I'm not convinced they can because of the way that their defense is playing. And even with the win this past weekend, they allowed a Giants team that has done very little offensively to score almost 30 points. The defense is just horrible, and if they don't get that fixed, I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't think they're winning anything.
Jeff, I agree with you. I was listening to the Cowboys announced team, and I don't, again, 2 weeks in a row, I don't know who the analyst is, and I know Brad Sham's the play-by-play guy, but whomever the analyst is, he's lucky to have a job. He unloads on the home team, allowed by some, but not as combustible as he was kind of making it now. But I've heard 2 weeks in a row, and he was saying, who are these Giants? I mean, they haven't done this all year. Oh, I know why they're doing it. They're playing the Cowboys. This is the home team announcer.
I can tell you who is the analyst working with Brad Sham is former Cowboy quarterback Babe Laufenberg. That is who is ripping him.
Oh, wow.
Babe is still the analyst?
Yeah, that's what I just saw, unless it's changed.
Well, whoever it is, man, he tears into him. And Jeff, he was basically saying this Giants team, I mean, without Saquon Barkley, without Eli Manning, without a lot of things, they were looking like Dan Marino and the Dolphins.
Yeah, they've got to get that defense fixed. We'll just have to see. It's so unfortunate to see Dak go down the way he did, especially with the year he was having. But they got major problems already before they lost him.
Tonight, you kind of said it already, but They play this game in Tennessee. By the way, are there fans tonight for this game? Is the Nashville mayor allowing that?
It's pretty tough in Nashville.
I don't think so.
Town to town is hard to know if they are or they're not, aren't they? Isn't it, Jeff?
It is. Yeah, just based on the state. But I don't think they are.
Yeah. Last thing, and we'll let you guys, nothing to do with football, but I haven't asked you this. How is the real estate business? Seems like homes, I don't know the commercial real estate's doing well, but it seems like homes are doing great in terms of surviving this pandemic.
Yeah, homes are doing great, and the commercial real estate is doing great as well so far. I think our market is just a unique market in terms of affordability, and it's definitely still a seller's market. There's still strong demand for both residential and commercial. So we've been delighted.
My friend, stay healthy. We appreciate you joining us every Tuesday.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. That is
Take care, guys.
Jeff Moore.
Jeff Moore with us every Tuesday talking NFL. And tonight, before watching the game, you can go by Jason's Deli, any of these locations on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Not just a lunch place, terrific at dinner time. Starting about right now, if you want to get there really early up to game time, they'll have it on in all the locations. They like to say wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli, and that is a fact. It's all about choice. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. The great salad bar, over 30 items still to choose from. Now you make your choice, and they prepare it for you. No more do-it-yourself. You know why. Everything safe, everything contactless, everything extra, extra careful. Plenty of organic food to choose from. Catering anytime, anywhere, in any of these locations. Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Wrap up that meal with the complimentary free ice cream. All the salads, like the Mesa chicken salad, the chicken club salad, the Big Chef salad, the chicken Caesar salad. I love the taco salad. I love the soups, the broccoli cheese, the chicken noodle, fire-roasted tortilla, spicy seafood gumbo, the Southwest chicken chili, and don't forget about the chicken pot pie. It is terrific. Everything's great at Jason's Deli. All the meats, breads, cheeses, spreads, all that great food and all these great locations. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
We pause for just a second. When we come back, we'd love to hear more from you about would you go to a college football game. That could be Saturday at the Liberty Bowl. That could be in Oxford, in Knoxville,
anywhere.
In Fayetteville.
If given the all clear, would you go?
Would you go tonight to see the Titans?
Good one.
The text line is 67129. We are back in just a minute on Sports Time.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
We have all heard of Casper, the sleep company with the outrageously comfortable products at not so outrageous prices. From award-winning mattresses to pillows, sheets, and duvets, Casper transforms the way we sleep one snooze at a time. Every Casper mattress is designed with a system to react and adapt to your body all night long. Inside, precisely 1,501 perforations create a cooling system so effective you won't be awake to notice. Only Casper mattresses are made with 86 supportive gel pods to align your spine and eliminate aches and pains. Altogether, it's the cooling, supportive comfort that you need for the most refreshed feeling come morning time. From bedding, bed frames, even a dog bed, Casper has everything you need to build the bed of your dreams. And now with 0% APR financing options, it is even easier to try a Casper mattress. Now for a limited time, head to Casper.com to get 15% off mattresses and 10% off everything else on the site. Terms and conditions do apply. See Casper.com/terms.
You know when you gotta be somewhere, it's like really urgent. You don't want to do it over the phone. Some things just can't be said with an LOL or an OMG. Some things just need to be done IRL. So you get in your Nissan Altima and drive. Feel the VC turbo engine instantly react to give you more power and efficiency, so you can get where you need to go.
Hey, Eric. What are you doing here?
Like.
Huh?
Your social post. I liked it.
Oh, thank you. There's a button for that, right?
I do.
The Nissan Altima, now offering the most tech-advanced engine in its class. This is tech that helps you be there. This is Nissan Intelligent Mobility. Auto-Pacific segmentation. 2020 Altima Platinum versus latest in-market competitors in the premium midsize class. Available feature. World's first production variable compression turbo engine launched by Nissan Motor Company Limited in 2018.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Wow, these 2 hours have gone by quickly. More on the NFL coming up at the top of the hour with our good friend Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com. We'll talk about the Steelers, I'm sure, with him in tonight's football game as well. We've been asking, would you go to a game? And we've had so many. I'm going to go where we sort of left off. We'll go when the capacity is increased to something close to normal. So, in other words, this person, I guess, will not feel really good when everybody can go, right?
Yeah, but that was the setup. If we had that today with all clear, I mean, we're not going to, but if we did, because in a blink of an eye, it's going to be AutoZone Liberty Bowl time.
I know. And we're going to have Steve Earhart, Big Cheese head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on tomorrow. I don't even know if he knows at this point exactly how many tickets he can sell, or he had a season ticket drive that was going on, and I don't know how many they sold.
Because I don't know their books, and I don't know anybody else's books, but not many bowls can make it if we went this year and next with a limited variety.
I agree, but I think most of the ones that are stable will be able to make it through this 1 year, especially if they're getting some in. There may be a lower payout to the schools than what we normally see. I would expect
smaller purses.
that would be the case. But I found this one interesting on the First Bank text line, 67129. This particular person says he's willing to go, but he's waiting until he thinks it's more normal, where everybody, where there would be a lot of people. I would think at this point I would still feel more comfortable with less people about going. Another texter at 671.
I don't know that I want to sit on top of anybody.
Yeah,
but
I don't.
I would go tonight if I were in Nashville, but I don't know if I want somebody just all up in my grill.
Another person says, I probably would, but my wife wouldn't let me, LOL. I know the only reason I get to go with my wife, who is pretty fanatic about this, is because I'm working it. If she had her druthers, definitely would not go. And then this last one, a stadium is a walled environment and 22 players breathing heavily, also people yelling in close proximity would be a high-risk situation, in my opinion. So as we look at this,
well, there's no question about that. But a walled environment is not an outdoor stadium.
No.
Oh, I mean, a dome in New Orleans, and the Saints are having real issues. I mean, they're about to pull up stakes and go play the rest of the year in Baton Rouge, where they can have a crowd there. But an outdoor stadium, now I guess the concourse level, when you go to the bathroom, it is walled. And you're going to have to go to the bathroom at some point.
I guess the only other aspect of the walled environment is when you're down over the wall from the by the playing field. But that wall gives you usually protection, a little bit of a barrier from those that might be coaches yelling, and they're not yelling in your direction either. So I'm with you, and it makes a lot of sense to me if I were the Saints, and I could if I could only get, let's say, 10,000 people, and they did have some fans in the Superdome last night, but I don't know how many. But if you could get a lot more because it's outside in Baton Rouge, that makes sense to me. Another goes, require masks, open it up now. Well, masks are required. And everybody who goes Saturday
and will be
at 12,000 people, they still have to wear masks. And then another guy goes, I'm going. I've already been to 2 games. So I would say
so far, real split decision of kind of both extremes. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much heck yeah.
Well, I think it's about 60-40 if we go through this of those that are saying they would go. That is 2 hours in the books. This final portion of hour number 2 is brought to you by the good folks at Brian Elder Roofing Solutions. It was raining like crazy with that Hurricane Delta. Did you check your roof? We've got hurricane season. We've had a lot of rain. If you've got any questions, call Brian Elder. Call Chris Price. Call him. Simple number, 867-0303. 867-0303. They are the ones that can help you with commercial and residential roofing, and they do so in a very responsible way. And look, roofing is an essential emergency service, but don't make it an emergency. Do a little proactive checking. Let Brian Elder do that checking for you. They use only the best products in the market. They provide their customers with the best warranty, no questions asked warranty, which means they'll stick by whatever they told you they're going to do, and they're going to make it right for you. They come out, they use the latest technology and equipment, and they can measure your roof from outer space, but they'll most likely come. All you got to do is call Chris Price or Brian Elder. 867-0303. That's Brian Elder Roofing Solutions. Back in a minute, hour number 3. We'll go to Youngstown. Stand by. He's ready. Beau Marchant from collegetopro.com is next.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Ben Swinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Ben Swinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. 2 Memphis locations, one in Midtown on Hollywood Street across from the Liberty Bowl, and one in Cordova off Germantown Parkway next to the Fox and Hound. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Ben Swinger Glass.
Hey Tennessee, sports betting is almost here, and FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you an exclusive offer to get started. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit to register and verify early. No deposit required. FanDuel is America's #1 sports betting site for a reason. They've got odds on all the biggest sports and a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for, then lock it in. And unlike other sports books, once you win, FanDuel gets you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? Why? Because it's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you is to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code GASMAN so they know we sent you. When you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. That's promo code GASMAN to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live.
21 plus in present Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call Redline 1-800-889-979.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join Pete Cordelli and me for Sidelines Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. on Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1 FM. We'll cover the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, recruiting. Hey, if they keep score, we're covering it. Check us out on the website at sports56whbq.com and sidelines.live. Sidelines is brought to you by Duncan Williams Asset Management. Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. Get up and give us a call.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, WPGFLP Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Bo Marchant on the NFL. Yes, we have a Tuesday night game. And, hey, Tennessee, sports betting, it's almost here. And I have my FanDuel app and FanDuel Sportsbook. They're giving you an exclusive offer to get started. Have some fun with that game tonight like I'm going to right now. FanDuel Sportsbook giving users $50 in free bets just for signing up. That means you sign up and you start up $50. You heard that right. They're giving you $50 in free site credit to register and verify early. No deposit required. FanDuel, America's #1 sports betting site, for a reason. They've got odds on everything, all the biggest sports, and a simple, intuitive app that makes it easy to find the bet you're looking for, then lock it in. Like, I love the baseball tonight. I love the NFL tonight. I love all the games coming up this weekend, and unlike other sports books, once you win FanDuel, they get you your cash in as little as 24 hours. Why? It's the right thing to do. But right now, the right thing for you to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and check out their fantastic app for yourself. Just be sure to sign up and register using promo code CASH so they know we sent you when you verify your account, and you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook goes live. That's promo code CASH to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-899-9789. Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com. He's coming up next after I tell you about DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area for that town and country experience that you'll enjoy at DeSoto Auto Sales. They know we're living in a world today that time matters, and that's why they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. And you can check out all the cars. They're all checked out head to toe, bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If they don't have it, they'll find it for you. No shortcuts, kind, courteous staff. And then you walk in after you found your car, you get credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in 45 minutes. In time to do it right now, right after work or over your lunch hour. We're living in a world today that time matters. They know it. They want to keep it simple, and you can visit them online and check out all the happy referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Down on Goodman Road in DeSoto County at DeSoto Auto Sales, that town and country experience. Come on down and enjoy it at DeSoto Auto Sales.
It has been a gorgeous Tuesday here in Memphis. I mean, just a beautiful fall day, the kind you hope you get, except we got some colors coming, and I'm sure that'll happen in the next few weeks. But it's been a bit of a downer day on the COVID front. Today we have seen Dustin Johnson having to withdraw from the CJ Cup at Shadow Creek down in Vegas because of COVID. We've seen now the big story today, Florida, with 5 players with COVID and maybe some other within the administration or the athletic department. And so we'll have to wait till tomorrow to see if the Florida LSU game is on. We'll have to see what happens with Texas A&M. We've been taking texters on our First Bank text line at 67129 asking if they would go to a game. About 60-40 saying yes, but we get this one dire prediction where our texter says. I predict only about 3 more weeks of all this. Does that mean he thinks it's going away, or does that mean he thinks COVID is going to put away football for a while? I'm not sure what he means. I don't think that will be the case. That is for sure. I do know this. It has been almost 2.5 weeks since the Tennessee Titans played football. They take on a Buffalo team that has played. At least they were playing about 8 or 9 days ago, and they're hot. They're one of the better teams, undefeated in the league. Of course, Tennessee's also a perfect 3-0. Bo Marchant, give us your sense of what you think will happen in Nashville tonight. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm excited. I mean, you got an undefeated team in Buffalo, and you got the one-loss team in the Titans. So I'm excited to watch these two teams get after it. I don't think the layoff's going to be that in terms of slowing down Tennessee, and I don't think Buffalo will have a massive advantage. I mean, we hear players talk time and time again about having time off and their bodies being worn down. So you might get into a rhythm, but I think on the flip side, I mean, you kind of got going, you got 4 or 5 games in you, and then you got to take a 2-week hiatus. So, I mean, they do it for the Super Bowl, and that's supposed to be a time for these guys to really recoup. So I kind of look at it like that. You kind of had a Super Bowl break, and now in the season, and now you get back at it. But, I was talking with Brett earlier. I mean, so crazy coming on the show. Usually we're recapping the entire week, and it was just kind of odd that we're talking about a game that's going to go on after we do our show today.
And Bo, you got to match up undefeated tonight. The Titans hadn't been scratched up. They're 3-0.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking one game off because one's 4. Yeah, that's my bad. But
one's 3-0, one's 4-0.
Yeah, that's what I was. I knew one was 1 game off. That's why I was thinking. I know one, but yeah, it's an exciting time, and I still think the AFC South, with Romeo Crennel, we saw a little bit of life in the Houston Texans. I still think they're going to give that division a run for its money. At the end of the day, I have to see more at Tannehill over the long haul to have faith that they can duplicate their success from last year. And until I see that, I'm going to be a little bit skeptical. And then on the flip side, Josh Allen has a ton of critics. He's proven a lot of those critics wrong the way that he's been playing. And I think it coincides with, they're putting players around him where it's not just the emphasis where he has to run and run a lot. They brought in Stephon Diggs. I spoke to Dan Morton, one of their director of personnel down at the Shrine game, and he said, that was one of the off-season keys was, via the draft or free agency or a trade, they needed that home run number 1 type hammer receiver, and they got that in Diggs, and he's worked out very well. And Brian Dabo, their offensive coordinator, and when we hear so many, names getting thrown around at head coaching jobs, I think he's as good as any of some of the guys that were mentioned, in terms of Eric Bieniemy and Byron Leftwich and some of these offensive guys that, have a lot of promise and will be hot candidates when these coaching jobs come up for next year.
Yeah. Do you think one of those guys ends up in Atlanta? And would that change that culture if it's Leftwich, who's just been, absolutely terrific, or Bieniemy for that matter?
Yeah. The one thing I think I hope those guys, it's so unpredictable. I mean, you hope these guys have success, and I think Leftwich and Bieniemy's under that Reed tree, and then Byron Leftwich is he doesn't have that bright Bruce Arians, he doesn't have this famous coach type guy, long history like Reed does. What Arians' background is, but Leftwich has done a lot, and he's gotten different pieces over the years, and they've done think about how despite the interceptions, Jameis Winston was putting up a ton of points last year, but for Atlanta overall though, they can put up points. It's the defense that's really the concern, and I know the hot ticket right now is people want to have offensive-minded coaches, but I just think at the end of the day, if you're going to even bring in an offensive coach, I don't know how much better you can make the Falcons' offense. That is not the issue. It's them allowing the points that they did. They brought in the defensive coordinator and Dan Quinn, and we saw, lo and behold, that was not the answer. And I think all organizations as a whole, Sala out in San Francisco, fantastic coordinator, but he's not so much of a schemer. And when you have the type of talent that they have with Bosa and Solomon Thomas and these number 1 picks, D Ford, et cetera, it's easy to look good. I always think of Mike Martz. Mike Martz had Marshall Faulk, Orlando Pace, Ozzie Hakeem, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Kurt Warner, and then he went to Chicago to become the head coach. now you got Thomas Jones, you got Eric Kramer. You know, there's a big, big difference in what he had. So I just think all these coordinators, you really got to think about what they're doing and what they're doing it with in terms of you kind of give them the keys to the castle and let them run it.
Do we have another in-season firing after another loss or two, and would Mike Zimmer be in jeopardy of that? Would Matt Patricia be in the queue for that? I think that's probably the top two. Vic Fangio, maybe. Do you think there? Adam Gase. Oh, the Jets. Adam Gase for sure.
That's only
do
his
you think we have
second year.
another?
That's his second year. You can't fire him in his second year, can you?
It's Woody Johnson and the Jets. Sure, they can.
Yeah, I mean, Gaze, I just think they're so bad. And, it's not even so much Gaze. Sometimes I just think the front office, they really have not done a lot of smart things in terms of just helping Darnold and making, players work that fit the system. I think Patricia has to be at the top of the list. I mean, he's had not a long tenure, but season 3, lack of success. And Zimmer, I mean, heartbreaking loss for the Minnesota Vikings Sunday night. I mean, I think anyone, if that was a prize fight, I think he would have said, hey, they won the fight. They just happened to get knocked out at the very end of it. And that's what Russell Wilson was able to do, starting that, drive and on the 5-yard line. And just
but what does that get you?
Whoa.
That still gets you toes up and knocked out cold.
That's a self-inflicted wound. That would be like your manager rubbing Vaseline in your eye, and you're blinded. I mean, for goodness sake, the guy had the chance to go up 8. He takes losing in regulation out of it, and he goes with the analytics. Oh, it's 4th and inches, and it cost him the game.
That'd get you fired.
It cost him the game, and really, I don't know if it does get him fired, but that's the kind of move I would think that would. And that's the kind of loss, I think, when you've had it in your hands and you make the dumb strategic move that your team doesn't recover for the whole year.
You could be right. I mean, I can't argue that. On the flip side, if I'm defending what Zimmer did or defending Zimmer, I mean, that team played well enough to win. And, they went to, granted there's no fans, but, they traveled to Seattle and they took on a good Seattle football team and they took them to the very end. So, I think, we heard a lot of rumblings coming out of Houston, and that's the one thing you want to ask these guys is, if they got fired, was the message lost? Is the team playing hard? And, I think it's fair enough to say that, the Vikings came out to win that football game, and they did play hard for Zimmer. But Minnesota was kind of like Ron Rivera. They're a weird bunch. Right when you think they're the team to beat, they kind of take a big step back. And I remember talking about them last year. I think I said I'm officially off the Mike Zimmer bandwagon and the Vikings, and I think they rode off, win after win after win, and lo and behold, they upset the Saints in the playoffs. So, they're a sneaky team. I mean, with Green Bay playing as well as they are, it's hard to imagine that they're going to catch them, especially with their record with 1 win. So, I mean,
Whoa. You forget another team there. Well, the Packers, they are 4-0, but
don't make him start singing.
There's another team
if
there.
he starts singing, I'm out of here.
I'm sorry, but I totally set ourselves up for that.
Yeah. He thinks they're the 72
Dolphins.
Monsters
of the Midway, the Chicago Bears.
There you go.
Hey, Dave, I'm telling you, man, I was watching that game last Thursday, and I was like, man, I hope Foles and these guys, and I have nothing against the Buccaneers. I have no issues with Brady. I think it's phenomenal. I love him, but I just wanted to see the Bears win last Thursday night and prevail and sneak out that win. So I was very excited.
Dave picked against them when we did our picks, Bo.
That's my new strategy. My new strategy is
Dave's dartboard.
I got to get
Dave's
something out of it.
dartboard strategy.
Yeah.
That's the best part about sports is the superstitious things we do to hope our teams win.
Don't we?
We do. We do. The Pittsburgh Steelers, my friend, still undefeated and shaking through all this COVID stuff that's around. And, I look at that
4-0 for
team.
the first time since 79?
They are solid.
Yeah,
they are solid.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to go back and look. I was there at the stadium Sunday. I'm like, I was starting to write the story. I'm like, when's the last time? And I kept going through and through. I'm like, hard to imagine they've, not that, the 80s they weren't that dominant, but they were pretty good in the 90s and early. But to think that 79 was the last time, and they've been 4-0 twice, and 78 they went 7-0. and I think 73 they went 4-0, but 78 was but it just shows you how hard it really is to just stack wins and be undefeated in the National Football League. I think people you get lost in the idea that it's easy to do, but when you look at a franchises, since the 70s, they've had a ton of success. Prior to that, a lot of bad
50-year run.
Yeah, but you'd think
50-year run, everybody in sports would envy.
Yeah, but 4-0 last 79. But they're playing well. I was on the Zoom call earlier today with Tomlin. He's just emphasizing, and I agree. Being a coach, he would know more. But Myles Garrett in that front, that could cause the Steelers some problems. Zach Banner, Steven Minuski, Dave DeCastro is still questionable for this weekend. So those are three starters out. No excuses to be made, but they're not that's not the optimal place that you want to be when you're taking on Garrett, who is playing fantastic. And not only does he get to the quarterback, but he's having a great time at causing sacks that force fumbles or forcing that ball one way or another out of that quarterback's hands. And I believe, don't quote me on it, but I think Cleveland leads the league in turnovers. So, but that front's going to be something that I think is going to play a lot of, could derail the game for the Steelers, or if they can get through it, they might have success.
That is
biggest Brown Steelers game since when? This has real stakes. Mid-October, two good teams, 4-1 Brownies, undefeated Steelers.
I off the top of my head, honestly, because it's been such a lopsided affair since the Browns have come back. You'd have to probably say some point in the 80s, with Kosar. Just because they have been, so bad. And, it's Roethlisberger's record. It's an insane record against the Cleveland Browns. It's like 28-1-1 or something. It's mind-boggling, the success. And so I think, even the players, if you get these new young guys coming in, they really don't know the history. Ray McLeod, we did a Zoom call with him yesterday, the receiver out of Clemson, and this is his first year in Pittsburgh. And, he was asked, do you know about the history? And he goes, well, I heard it was, it used to be a rivalry. He said it used to be, and somewhat fair enough. I know Browns fans are just a bitter group. They're a passionate group, but they're a bitter group. And even if they're 1-4 and you're 1-4, they still think they're just happy that they have company at the 1-4 mark. So when they're winning, they're tough to deal with.
The old dog pound was a scary place. I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but one of my best buddies in college, in fact, I hitchhiked around the country with him, was a guy from Pittsburgh, and he used to talk about going when he was a kid. That you had Three Rivers, but you also had the old Memorial Stadium in Cleveland, the Mistake on the Lake, they used to call that thing. And they called it the Six-Pack Series because it took a six-pack to drive between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. No, that was a hated rivalry. It's a great rivalry, and then it became one-sided. When it's one-sided, it's not a great rivalry. That's the problem.
That's it.
Bo, I had a buddy. I had a buddy that was a Browns fan, and he would go up about once every 2 years, and he was from Helena, Arkansas, and fell in love with the Browns as a kid, but would go up about once every 2 years. And he said one day in the dog pound, it was so cold, but a guy didn't have a bottle of whiskey or a can of beer. He had a keg. Dude comes into the stadium with a keg wrapped in an electric blanket to keep it from freezing.
That's the one thing. Society's changed, and we have to be careful and cautious because there's, some crazies out there that want to harm us. But, the thing that you could bring a keg inside a stadium, and you can't even bring hand sanitizer into a stadium now if it's, if it's 2 ounces or more.
The NFL would never allow a keg. You're not stealing an ounce of beer from them. They're selling everything.
That's ever dropped.
There is no doubt. Hey, we just got some, at least ESPN is putting this across. I think it came from Jerry Jones. They think that Dak Prescott the surgery was so successful, he'll be back in 4 to 6 months. 4 to 6 months. That is the best news that you could hear.
Amen.
My question is he a Cowboy next year, or if you're another franchise, do you take a chance on a guy that just had an injury like that? And maybe I'm sure the doctors will check it out. 4 to 6 months seems like nothing compared to what you saw with Alex Smith or Mackenzie Milton.
I think it just comes down to one, if he's going to, just say he's healthy. Let's just say, and that is wonderful news. I mean, praises. I mean, that is wonderful that that result has come out. But if he's healthy, I think Dallas has to go back. But maybe, it's up to Prescott and his people if they're going to lower their demands and work with another team. I just think, he had to be fun. And I saw the stat that came out today. He was, averaging 371, and he was on pace to break all kinds of records in terms of passing yardage. For a quarterback to drop back, and you got Zeke, and then Dayton, Schultz was stepping up, and you got Lamb and Cooper.
Lamb is
Gallup,
maybe rookie of the year the way he was going.
Yeah, so I think, it's kind of like, do you really want to go anywhere else and heave the football? And as a quarterback, you can sit back there and throw the ball to all these guys and still have a running game. And the one thing Dallas has had, we know that they're struggling, but, they have had a ton of injuries on that offensive line. Let's not make any mistake about that. So I know they've had their troubles defensively, but they're still putting up points and still finding a way. And, he got hurt breaking out of the pocket. It wasn't like he got sacked. But they were doing a pretty good job of protecting Dak back there. So, I would like to think that he goes back to Dallas. And, maybe when we saw the Joneses mention that, he's going to be a Cowboy, maybe this is, he got hurt and, but it's tricky. For everyone, when everyone's out there saying that's why you signed a big money contract, and that's probably why the teams are like, well, this is why we don't want to give you a big money contract. It goes both ways. You don't mind paying a guy $40 million if he's going to stay healthy, but the NFL is a dangerous game, and such a fluke play, just a wrong turn of the ankle, and you lose a guy, and granted, he's still going to make $31 million this year, but not what he wanted, not the way that the season he wanted it to end. But a long story short, I do think he'll be a Dallas Cowboy next year.
I hope so. And because that was rough, and he's a good competitor. I think the Cowboy defense will keep them out of the mix in the East. Who emerges and wins that East? It's really a 2-team race, isn't it? Eagles and Cowboys.
Yeah, and Dalton scares me. Last year, I think it was the second game of the year, the third game. It had to be the third because, Roethlisberger was out and the Bengals were coming to town. And I just thought, Andy Dalton's probably the best player on the field, at least for the Bengals, at least at the quarterback position. And I just figured a veteran, he's going to lead this team that's depleted offensively from the Steelers and lead this team to a win. And they end up losing that game. And, we know how the season went for the Bengals. They're the worst team. They got the number one pick in Joe Burrow, and, Andy Dalton's now in Dallas. I just don't know how much Andy Dalton has left. I just think when you can't beat a Steelers team that was as bad as they were offensively, you can't put any boards. And I know their defense is tough, but nonetheless, you got to show more than that. So I know that's a weird way to look at things, but that has stuck with me. And lo and behold, the Bengals, they were the worst team in the National Football League, and they still had Andy Dalton last year. So I don't know how much he's going to help that team. And with that said, I still like the fight. I think the Eagles are a tougher team than the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have all the fun, fancy pieces. I kind of like to say that they're the candy, they're the desserts. But the meat and potatoes team, you got to look at the Eagles and say, this is the team, they're a hardy bunch, and, they're going to smack you in the mouth. And that's the one thing Dallas does not do. They get punched a lot more than they punch. And that's why we've seen them struggle. And that's why they lost the NFC East last season, because they just could not finish anybody off. And here come them pesky Philadelphia Eagles, and they sneaked that division in. And granted, they lost, but, Wentz went down in the playoffs. That's something they have to avoid. But I think the Eagles, with Dalton now the starter in Dallas, I think the Eagles are in the best position to win that division.
I think the Eagles are a good team. I do. I'm a little disappointed in their defense thus far this year, but I think they are a pretty good team, and I'm not sure with Dak that the Cowboys were a better team, but I do think Dalton will be okay because, as you mentioned, all those offensive weapons the Cowboys have between Ezekiel and Tony Pollard, I want to throw him in there, and CeeDee Lamb and the tight end. They're a good – there's a lot of weapons, and this is a serviceable guy. And usually in the regular season, he's a great player, and he was really good the other day. It's the playoffs the guy always seemed to fall apart. So we'll see what happens with all of that.
Very good point.
Yeah, it is a crazy crazy division. That is for sure. It's going to be a crazy year. And
let's hope we get the year in.
I'm into that. I'm into that. We'll end it on that particular note. Very good. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. And stay healthy. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Yep, you gentlemen do the same. And, hey, enjoy Tuesday Night Football.
Tuesday Night Football on CBS. That is our friend Beau Marchant, collegetopro.com. He's brought to you in part by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and, of course, the famous tune-up that now comes with a heating system safety check. You can get everything your way this time for $69. You get both the super tune-up, that's 16-point energy saver, little inspection, I like to say. They go in there and they tune everything up, but it's more than that. They clean everything out. They'll change the filter inside, outside. They go get all the leaves and the dirt and the grime outside that on that outside unit. And now what John is doing is he includes a heating system safety check, and he doesn't charge you at all for that, which includes a carbon monoxide test. This is all for $69. So outside, inside, and the system safety check, along with the monoxide test, the carbon monoxide test, so you know when you go to sleep at night, you don't have to worry about anything. It's taken care of, all for $69. Actually, if you call this week, $57 with the free heating system safety check. 384-3511, 384-3511. That's the number for Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and their famous tune-ups. Back in just a minute, halfway home of hour number 3 on this Autumn Tuesday on Sports Time on Sports 56.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Brian Smith, we love the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis.
Thanks, Stats. The fall months are always the best time to shop for both new and pre-owned cars. We're right in the middle of model year end change. The 2020s have got to go to make room for the new 2021 models, and we continue to trade for the best pre-owned cars in the city, all makes and models.
Service is one of y'all's hallmarks.
Our award-winning service department is adhering to all socially distanced safety precautions.
You can experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together...
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
Looking for some action on your favorite games? Action247.com is at your service. Action 24/7 free-to-play games are brought to you by Tennesseans for Tennesseans. Come play with us online at Action247.com. Our free-to-play games are fun and easy. Go to Action247.com and click Let's Play. And best of all, you can win cash prizes. That's right, cash prizes. Free to play online at Action247.com. You got action.
Cold and flu season's here. It's time to make sure your family's stocked up on the products you'll need if somebody gets sick. Pick up the new Vicks DayQuil and NyQuil Severe, honey, cold, and flu medicines during your next grocery trip. DayQuil and NyQuil Severe Honey are a max-strength medicine with a great-tasting honey flavor, also available for sale at online retailers. DayQuil NyQuil Severe Honey provides max-strength cold and flu symptom relief for your worst cold and flu symptoms in a soothing honey flavor. Use as directed.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 5ash-367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
So we got football tonight. We've also got baseball. No Kershaw, but the Dodgers and the Braves. Well, we get this text, too. In reference to the beer story that we heard, Stats, this comes to you from the First Bank text line. Well, a student at Ole Miss in 1982, so your era,
yes,
we rented a wheelchair.
This is kind of scary.
And put a pony keg on the bottom.
Oh, no.
My buddy sat in the wheelchair. We covered his lap and keg with a blanket, got it into the game, and drank it dry. I've got pics for proof. That's
wow.
ingenuity right there. I like that.
82. I wonder what game. I wonder if it was Oxford or Jackson.
Oh, that's right. It could have been in Jackson then, yeah. And then another texter at 67129. This is a Mississippi texter, says, can we get a short weekly segment with Dave hitchhiking across America stories? Oh, man, I've got a million of those. You think steamboat stories are good?
Be
71 to 72, I hitchhiked around the country. This is the truth. The guy from Pittsburgh, Gary Alt, whose parents owned a beer distributorship. And it was incredible, different era. If my kids tried to do that, I would have killed them. But it was a different time, and it was safe. And I went back and forth and back over about a 9.5-month period. It was eye-opening. I learned a lot and saw the entire United States. It was great. But that's the extent I think we'll get into that.
I think we should know more, Drew.
I think we should too. And by the way, everybody always says like hitchhiking, it was safe back then. Like, you know why it's not safe now? Because it was never actually safe. You know,
it wasn't safe then. That's how you run into
killers?
Ted Bundy and Patty Hearst.
Exactly.
I had only one moment of any kind of fear.
And they took you to a commune for like 6 weeks?
No, we were outside of San Diego, and I was going to actually some a friend of my parents, and we got into this truck, and we were picked up by a Native American, and it was a big dude, this Native American. I was in the middle. My friend Gary was at the side of the door, and the guy basically said, he goes, "I figured it out." We go, "Oh, okay, well, what did you figure?" He goes, "White man is the devil." Well, we are two white men sitting in that car with that Native American.
Time to get out.
And Gary got his arm very close to that thing, and we're still moving, so we're not going anywhere. But I definitely had my heart racing a little. And the guy goes, "But I looked in both of your eyes, and there's no devil in you." And we just kind of relaxed. And then I told him where we were going, and I made sure we actually got out about 6 blocks from where we were going because I didn't want that guy to really know where we were going. But that was it.
He's
that
been
was
at San Quentin ever since, huh?
Well, I'm just telling you, that was the only scary moment out of
you would kill your boys if they did
well,
that.
Because
you would kill them.
It's a different time. It is a totally different era. People, for years, I always felt this obligation. If I ever saw a hitchhiker, I picked them up. I wouldn't pick up a hitchhiker now.
You've been there.
Totally different. Yeah. Well, it's just not what it was. Life has changed.
I really thought you were going to say
humanity has changed.
I thought you were going to say he drove y'all out and y'all met the Unabomber.
No. But those were fun times. Those were fun times.
Dave, you got to fess up to me. Did you ever cross paths with Patty Hearst?
No. Nor did I catch up with the what was that? The Palestinian Libyanese. What were they?
Symbionese Liberation Army.
Symbionese Liberation Army.
I don't know what acronym you just spelled.
Yeah, PLO.
But she was part of that bunch in the Bay Area.
Yeah, well, she got brainwashed. She was a upper class. Yes, I do. She was an upper class girl who got kidnapped.
That was her alibi when her dad got her a good lawyer.
I don't think so.
Dave, you bought that.
There was no connection to her in that group until it happened. That's the truth.
Come on.
I don't think she was. I've done a little research. I've listened to a podcast or two on it.
Yeah.
I don't think she was brainwashed. I think that
She
was
was a
a
spoiled
brat
brat
that
with him
wanted
and
to
then-
fight against Daddy
Come on,
because
Dave,
he said
you
no
bought
one
that.
time. Daddy said no
You're
one
smarter
time,
than
and
that,
she
Dave.
wanted to fight the machine.
That's right.
I don't know.
Rage Against the Machine. Down with
I
the man.
never really bought that part of it. I thought it was legit.
Come on, Dave.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
I bet you thought we were the liberator in Southeast Asia, too, didn't you?
I think that was. I hope that was our intent.
Come on, Dave.
Yeah. So, back to baseball tonight. I have this question. I just looked this up. Clayton Kershaw's won 175 games.
Yeah.
But he's been terrible in the postseason.
And always blames signals being stolen, remember? They were
Well,
cracking on the Cardinals years ago.
Well, the Astros, we know, were doing that to him.
But the Dodgers, it's always somebody else's fault in October but the Dodgers.
Do you think Clayton
Astros stole stuff, Cardinals stole stuff.
Is Clayton
somebody's
Kershaw,
hurt?
Who, for a couple of years there, was probably
Dave
the
believes
best.
Patty Hearst was brainwashed. It's always something in October.
Well, do you believe that Clayton Kershaw is a Hall of Fame guy?
I think so, yes. Because he was great for, as you like to say, judging by the peer group of his era. And it has been outstanding. And even great pitchers that are in the Hall of Fame, some have had not so great Octobers.
Here's so I think in baseball we do this. He's 175 and 76 with an unbelievable ERA, especially in this era, of 2.43. And let's face it, he started in 2008, so we're talking about a 13-year career. And his ERA this year is 2.16. So that those kinds of numbers, especially for starters in this day and age, when you're not going to win 300 games.
No, that's over.
Those kinds of numbers are good, and I think we look at those overall numbers more in baseball and recognize
he was dominant in his years
and recognize the regular season as being the marathon, the true test. I think we do that more in baseball than any other sport. For a
and
guy,
football's kind of the other way. If you have a good postseason, that carries you a lot more than what you were doing out there, kind of slubbing around in September and October.
And that's why I'm saying, when you go back to Kirk Gibson, Kershaw wasn't around then, boys. You go back to Kershaw to talk about the last time that the Dodgers were really great in the postseason. And, they did get to the World Series a couple of years ago, so I guess I should
The Dodgers aren't playing for getting to it. They're playing for it all.
Well,
it's
that's
the
my
Dodgers.
point. There seems to be, and
we're not talking about the Rockies.
I'm not arguing with you about Clayton Kershaw, but there seems to be in baseball, when we talk about Hall of Fames or whatever, we take into account the whole picture. We don't take into account postseason play like we do with every other sport. Even in
Dave,
golf.
I think we're in agreement. It sounds like we're arguing. I think we agree.
No, I think we do, but I'm not sure it's right.
Drew, come in off the top rope.
I'm just as confused.
Well,
as
why are
y'all
you arguing something that's not right?
Well, I'm just throwing out there. Should baseball have more accountability for playoff failures? Because
Great question.
Kershaw is
you got to the nib of it there. So should we have more? Should there be a higher standard for not doing well in October when it matters the most? I'm trying to think who that would leave out. Who's a great one? Dave Winfield had some notable scuffles in October.
Oh, wait, well,
notable.
I'm looking. We called Reggie Jackson Mr. October because the dude was great in postseason. When Whitey Ford died the other day, how many world championships was it?
Six.
Yeah,
and 11 World Series, 6 titles.
Yeah. And so that's incredible. That is part of his legacy. And yet, when you're a failure in postseason in baseball, you seem to get a pass. And I'm sort of putting a spotlight.
Here's one that never had a great October. Sure didn't as a Cardinal. okay with the A's, but nothing fantastic. Mark McGwire.
Yeah.
And then there are guys that had no October.
Well, that's
sadly,
true. Well, look, Ernie Banks.
Ted Williams and Ernie Banks.
Yeah. They never had the chance because they played with teams that didn't go to the World Series. And maybe that's part of the reason why. Because
I don't know that Rod – did Rod Carew ever have any –
he
never did much in October.
Well, when we go back to a lot of these teams like Ted Williams, Ernie Banks – there was the World Series was 2 teams. That was it. There was no other playoffs. So that's probably part of why baseball established the regular season as your true barometer, whereas all these other sports had playoffs and championships were measured more in postseason, and we had more postseason to measure you with, and that's why it became the barometer. Heck, even in golf, you could be you could win 5 regular tournaments, but if you win a U.S. Open or 2, we're going to recognize you more than a guy who's U.S. Open, or it's a major, or a Masters.
Yeah, and for golf or World Series, the rest of your life in that enters champ or major winner in whatever year, and the rest of it really doesn't matter after that.
Well, we remember Kirk Gibson. We remember.
May have been Jack Buck's best radio call. May have been better than Go Crazy.
Go Crazy was pretty good, but what was it?
That was on Columbus Day.
I can't believe what I just saw.
It was incredible, and the whole run up to it, and that was his one and only at bat in that series. Batted 1,000.
Right, I know, and we remember him forever for that. It's funny what we use for different barometers.
Yeah.
Do you think the Dodgers are in trouble here the way they lost, even though this rookie coming in is pretty solid?
I don't think they're in trouble, but tonight sure can lend itself that way, and the Rays certainly. Yeah. I'm enjoying the baseball. This time of year does it for me, and
going back and forth, and it'll be fun to watch. You will have this football game tonight, and I think it is the Tennessee Titans in our own state, and we get a lot more of the Titans, and I think the Titans are a pretty good team, but I'm flattered by who they have.
I'm going to enjoy it all tonight. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy. I like the old channel button that I can make it go back to the previous channel. They call it the previous channel button, don't they, Drew? I didn't know you don't know who you
use picture in picture
up there, but you're right. I do not know how to.
But you know what?
Well,
I got
to use it.
Really?
Yeah.
Dumb.
Obviously, if I knew 4 TVs into the last few weeks.
You don't need 2. I'll be honest with you.
That's true.
I find it distracting. I'd rather go back and forth.
I like going back forth full screen, but I see it on there. In fact, I'm at the option now, and I don't want to hit too many buttons because I don't want to
hit it. You can't hurt it. Oh, be brave. Go for it.
No, Dave. I mean, look, I'm not you out there seeing America in the early 70s.
No, you were always
escaping 1,000 serial killers.
Sitting in a cushion.
You ran with, I mean, there's no telling what you probably bumped into Abby Hoffman out there somewhere.
We had a ball.
Drew, tell us who Abby Hoffman was.
I'm going to guess a very nice young lady. I don't know.
No, Abby Hoffman was.
No.
He was a he. He was a
he was Weather Underground.
Democratic Convention it was revolutionary. He actually wrote a book later about those 60s. And
he was out on the lam for years.
Yeah.
Right in plain sight.
Do you remember the name? I always appreciated this about him because he was a revolutionary all the way to the end, even for himself. He wrote the book about those times. And you know what the name of that book was?
No.
Steal This Book. That's the name of the book. Steal This Book.
I didn't know.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I'm almost 100% certain of it. Steal.
He was the native Chicagoan, wasn't he?
Well, it all happened in Chicago. I think he was. I do think he was, but I'm not 100% certain of that.
But you didn't run
because
with those cats, did you?
All those weather. What? 68? Come on, I'm not that old.
Well, Dave. You were
I
born in 33.
I was 15. I was in high school. I was actually when there was tear gas flowing in Grant Park. I was down there, but I was there as
after your parents had told you not to.
My parents did not know I was there. Trust me.
I know. I knew you were being a wilding young youth.
That was crazy when the cops rushed all the revolutionaries.
It really was. And that was Mayor Daley,
Oh yeah,
police state.
Oh yeah. A great Graham Nash song written about that. Chicago.
Sure
the name
was.
of that song. This portion of the show is brought to you by Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Ken knows you're making a big decision. Without question, you are either going to renovate your house, or maybe you're looking for some land to build the dream home, or maybe it's this. Maybe you've got land. It's been in your family forever. You weren't sure when you were. Now you're ready. You want to pull the trigger. You want to build that palace. He's your guy. He and his dad, 2 generations of doing everything the right way. Go see KenGarland.com. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then give him a call. He knows it's a big investment you're making. That's why he works very closely with all of his clients, and he ensures they get exactly what they want, which is quality construction on time, on budget. 751-1632 is the number. Again, I'm urging you, go to KenGarland.com, see what he's done, then give him a call and just chat. And if you're looking for a new development, he's involved with one that is a gated community by Boyle called Oleilon. It's on Messick Road east of Kirby all the way to McVeigh. 4-bedroom home starting at $875,000. Ken Garland, a unique guy who's very interesting to talk to. 751-1632. Give my friend Ken Garland a call. Back in a minute, we got crunch time and a wrap of this Tuesday edition right around the corner.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Looking for some action on your favorite games? Action247.com is at your service. Action 24/7 free-to-play games are brought to you by Tennesseans for Tennesseans. Come play with us online at Action247.com. Our free-to-play games are fun and easy. Go to Action247.com and click Let's Play. And best of all, you can win cash prizes. That's right, cash prizes. Free to play online at Action247.com. You got action.
It's back, the Carhartt Crazy Sale at Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Visit Frontier this month for huge markdowns on clearance Carhartt items. The latest fall line just launched, and Frontier is fully stocked. We've got jeans, shirts, bib overalls, jackets, coats, gloves, belts, boots, and more. And to make room for the new items, we've discounted a number of short sleeve plaids and t-shirts. Save up to 50%. All Carhartt jeans are now $5 off. This is the last jean sale of the year, so stock up now for yourself or someone else for the the upcoming holidays. Christmas will be here before you know it, so you might as well save some cash now on what you know you'll need. All this month, we are including a buy one, get one half-price sale on all novelty t-shirts by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, Live Oak, and more. It's the Carhartt Crazy Sale and more. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch. On the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, that we hit fame. We do what we do, we get in fame.
Final portion of this Tuesday edition of Sports Time. It is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch. Tomorrow I've got some brand new stories and things to tell you about what's going on there. I know the 2021s have already started to arrive. In fact, I've got one. I've got a Sonata with so much technology in it I can actually get out of my car and with my key fob, park my car. Out of my car, park my car. And so safe. You know, Hyundai tied for the most number of top safety pick vehicles in 2020, and these 2021s are even better. And every new Hyundai, every new Genesis, you get two things that make Homer Skelton, I think, the standard for all car business. You get a limited lifetime powertrain warranty up to 100,000 miles, even on some of the Hyundai certified pre-owns, and they're number one certified pre-owned cars in all of Memphis for the last 12 years. So you get that warranty, and you're going to get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on every new Hyundai and every new Genesis. Just get there. You get on Lamar, you're there in 12, 15 minutes. You get to Highway 78 and Craft Road. Lamar becomes Highway 78 in Mississippi. That first exit, turn left, go see Chris True and all the gang. You'll love it at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. It is time for Crunch Time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
Boop! Choo!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time. Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
On one, on two, on three. Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day.
Guys, I learned today in reading, going through the Twitter machine and reading some stories from around the country about the biggest game in college football so far this year, Alabama and Georgia. Bama, they've had 3 losses in the last 31 games, and people are talking about Alabama like they're Oklahoma or even worse. They've scored 153 points in these 3 games. The defense was awful against Ole Miss, awful. I've never seen a good Bama team defense that bad, and I don't know if I've ever seen some bad Bama teams defense that was that bad. But let's not call it the end just yet. Let's not anoint Georgia until they actually win over them like LSU was able to last year.
Well, along those lines, 6 SEC teams ranked 53rd or lower in FBS total defense, and that includes your Alabama you just mentioned, LSU, and Florida. And Ole Miss, of course, is tied into that too. 6 below 53, so there is something going on. I learned
Dave,
today.
It'll make your eyes bleed, the defense I've seen so far this year. It's
I
been
know.
terrible.
Well, you're seeing teams score, 51 a game on Ole Miss? I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I've learned today, right now, they're in the middle of the 3rd. And the Dodgers and the Braves, zip with L.A. coming to bat. I learned today Ty Lue is probably going to end up being the head basketball coach of the Houston Rockets, which means he has beaten out a guy who was a coach in Houston for a number of years. That's Jeff Van Gundy, who I've actually started to enjoy on these broadcasts. I didn't like him at first. He's grown on me.
I pass.
But he apparently was liked by Furtada, the owner of the Rockets. But apparently it's Tyronn Lue who's going to get the job. And I don't know what happens to Van Gundy. He stays in broadcasting because he lives in Houston. I don't think he wants to relocate. But his brother, Stan, now is rumored to be the leader in the clubhouse to get the New Orleans Pelicans jobs. Stan Van Gundy, who I did not like on the air, he's probably going to end up with the Pels.
I could do without all those Saints Super Bowl predictions I heard from all. It's not going to hold up either.
Can
they
I
make the play.
Question? You don't like the Bears. They're 4-1. My goodness. Well,
I don't like the Bears because you like them. That's why I don't like the Bears.
Wait. Yeah. Well, I get that. I get Lions in that division.
My pick to win the Super Bowl was the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers, my friend.
All right. You still got one team that you picked early. You had the Rays and the Padres. Your Padres are gone now.
What is it you could have done without? Do without you.
I know. I was just gonna say. I know you could do without me. I could have done
I didn't
without.
Say that.
I
said you hitchhiking. You're lucky you're alive.
I am lucky I'm alive. But it was a great experience. I would never have changed anything I did there. I could have done without the Florida having to pause football because of the virus out. This means because there were 50,000 Kyle Field at Texas A&M, and so what? If that turns out they got it from that crowd, or they got it from A&M, they got it from that crowd, we have to wait to see what happens with A&M now. I mean, you've got LSU and Mississippi State both holding on for that, and could be a lot of contact tracing. I mean, that is a story we're going to have to really keep our eyes on because it could be just beginning.
I'm going to keep an eye on the rare Tuesday night game on CBS. I could not for the life of me tell you the last time I watched CBS on a Tuesday night. I don't know what this is disrupting. I don't know what this is replacing. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched CBS on a Tuesday night.
Baseball and football tonight. Thanks to Gabe Kuhn, Brent Beer, Jeff Moore, Bo Marchant. We do it again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have a great night, everybody.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.